Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Look at me in my funny, goofy hat. Don't I look like Hela from Thor? Don't you sometimes just want to club that Kevin Smith? Well, how about instead you join that Kevin Smith Club? Oh my God, we've been having such a good time. We have hours of audio, kids, in the Smodcast podcast archives that you can stick into your ear holes and listen to. Or do you want to look at something? Are you one of them dirty cucks? Well, then go to the Smithsonian screening room where you can watch hundreds of hours of video of my entire career spanning from the beginning up till now, including my daily morning show, Wake and Bake, man, where we just smoke weed, hang out, and I tell you what I'm working on. Plus, there's exclusive events. We've had Clerks 3 screenings for our club members. We've had Smodcastle exclusive shows for our members back in Jersey. We do events all the time, including movies pop-ups. And there's tons of merchandise, of course, that Kevin Smith Club members get exclusive access to before anybody else. There are so many ways into that Kevin Smith Club, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to come through the front door. You can come through the back door. We like it that way. Sign up as a clerk where you get access to all the audio that we got. Or join as a mall rat. That gives you all the audio and all the video as well. Or join as a fun employee, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get a new t-shirt, an exclusive That Kevin Smith Club t-shirt every quarter. Or join as a yoga hoser and get yourself something cool like a That Kevin Smith Wake and Bake Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our existing levels, but what about the new levels? That's right. For 2022, we've added some levels, including the fashionable male. You get everything that the clerk, the mall rat, the yoga hoser, and the fun employee gets, but you also get once a year an exclusive piece of wardrobe from a Kevin Smith film, straight out the View Askew universe from the Secret Stash archives. Or join as a brand new Ranger Danger, man. That gives you everything that the clerk, the mall rat, the fun employee, and the yoga hoser gets, as well as what the fashionable male gets. But then you also, once a year, get an exclusive prop direct from one of my movies. And if you've got untold riches coming out of your ass, guess what? Holy cow, there's the golden calves level, man. For that level, you come to my house, I cook you dinner, we record a podcast and we shoot it for Wake and Bake, and it goes up on Smodcast, man. Very exclusive. Once a year we do that. Join us at thatkevinsmithclub.com. Be a clerk, be a mall rat, be a fun employee, be a yoga hoser, be a fashionable male, be a Ranger Danger, or be a golden calf, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be waking and baking for you. Come join me at That Kevin Smith Club.
Know you're real. Welcome back, Captain. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
So good. My mom was going to be here tonight, but I was like, oh, there's like 60, 70 people there. She was like, okay, should I wear a mask? And then suddenly I got scared because my mom's been visiting me for like a week and a half, and I've kept her so fucking safe. Like, my house is a fucking death trap for a 76-year-old woman. Everything is like tile and shit, so if you go down hard. And so I've been trying to like protect her, and she's like, it reminds you, honestly, this is so fucked up. The last way I felt this way about somebody in my house was when Stan Lee came to visit, and he was fucking 92 at that point. So I was like, watch where you're going. Dude, look, don't turn around and talk to me. Walk down the stairs. We'll talk at the bottom of the fucking stairs and shit. Pay attention to what you're doing. Same fucking thing with my mother, man. It's been like taking care of a puppy made of Fabergé eggs. And so the idea of like getting to the fucking goalpost and then suddenly she gets COVID was like, I just wasn't going to chance it and stuff. So she says hello to everybody. But what a fucking, I'll tell her when I get home. But what a wonderful trip it's been, absolutely. I took her to see Elvis, our good friend Brett Deacon, who works at 40X and ScreenX. That's how we get all those sweet tickets to give away and shit. He arranged a ScreenX screening of the Elvis movie, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis movie. And my mom, as if you might remember, I took her to Graceland because that was her fucking Mecca and shit like that. And so we, when I said, while you're out here, I think I could set up a screening of the movie before it comes out. And she was like, oh my God, I would love that. So we got to go. Their place is not really far from my house and shit. And 2.5 hours this movie is. Spellbinding, particularly in the ScreenX presentation. Catch it if you can in that version. It's not just the front wall. It comes to life on 3 walls. And so all the performance footage is like you're surrounded by it. My mom 3 times cried like during the movie, and it was so fucking weird because like in the movie, I'm sure if you've seen the trailer, there's a scene where like he fucking like wiggles his pelvis for the first time, and all the women are like, and you see women get moist like in the crowd, and they play it up and shit like big time. And so after that, like the indication was like, Elvis's mom is like, they want to hurt him, and his dad's like, hurt him? They want to fuck him. They didn't say fuck him, but like they stop him from saying fuck is a PG-13 movie or something.
You only get one. They don't waste it there.
They're not going to waste it there whatsoever. Right. So my mom was like crying at that scene because she was like, that was before I was even with your father. Like I remember that, but she made it clear. She was like, but I never looked at his pants like that. Like, she didn't want to be lumped in with the movie where all the girls were, like, looking at his cock and shit like that. And she was like, no, it wasn't about the cock for me, I was like, bullshit.
She was dick printing Elvis.
Oh, my God. Ooh. Absolutely. It might have been her first exposure to a fucking jiggling cock. And the movie is, like, wonderful. I don't know how you fit somebody's giant life into fucking 2.5 hours. Baz Luhrmann did a great job doing it. Austin Butler was absolutely fucking Elvis, like just became the guy. Even fucking fat Elvis, they put him in the makeup and shit. And like really thin people in fat makeup, it just don't work. They've spent some money. This movie, Mark, is so expensive. Like fucking, they must have spent 200 million bucks, maybe easily 200 million. Because they recreate like 1950, every outfit. They do a crowd full of people. You got 400 people. Every extra has their hair done, and they're wearing fucking period clothing and shit. Just so fucking god-awful expensive, but put to wonderful use because it really did fucking recreate the era. It's a majesty, a marvel of fucking cinema, of motion picture cinema. But watching my mom cry during it was realizing, like, she's my mom. She's 76 and shit. But at one point, she was like a total fangirl. And like, you would think like, all these stories. She didn't care. The whole time she's telling me through the movie, she's like, oh, Colonel Tom Parker was no damn good and shit like that. Like, and this movie's showing us that. I'm like, Mom, I'm pretty fucking sure that's what they're implying here. And she's like, yeah, he was a bastard and shit. So at the end of the movie, she was like crying and she was like, oh my God. And that boy, he was so wonderful. She loved the movie. She was like, that boy, she goes, I want to meet that boy, that beautiful boy who played Elvis. And I was like, you have met that boy, Ma. Like, he was in Yoga Hosers. He played one of the satanic teens and shit. And my mother, without missing a beat, she's just like, oh, well, this movie will be way better for his career. I was like, good point. It was fucking sweet. I'm telling you, like, it's been a wonderful visit, but, like, the weirdest things are doing it for her. Like this is gonna sound like a commercial for HBO Max, and it's not. But holy fuck, my mother discovered the magic of HBO Max. Like when she first got here, I had to put something on for her to go to sleep to, and I was like, oh, watch Hacks with Gene Smart. Like it's fucking amazing. You'll think it's funny and stuff like that. She's like 70 and stuff. So my mom was like watching Hacks and she kept falling asleep. It took her like 4 days to watch it. It kept running all the way through. And she was like waking up in season 2 and shit like that. Now she's like, I see there are other things. And I was like, yeah. She's like, Father of the Bride. And I was like, okay. And so she's watching the new Father of the Bride fucking movie and shit. she's learned to control it. You know, it's a fucking laptop, so it's point
With her
and click.
mind?
Yes, she's like, fucking give me the goddamn mom entertainment. I couldn't get her to the Hallmark Channel. I felt like a real fucking failure and shit. That's why I brought her to HBO Max. But this morning I fucking got up and like, you know, I went to bed at like 10. We had a big day, so, you know, she was like watching fucking Father of the Bride. And I figure like it ended, she would close the laptop, go to sleep. But my mom's a real night owl. She was up all night fucking watching movies. She was like, oh, do you notice HBO Max has so many movies? And I was like, you sound like a fucking commercial right now. She was like, I watched Monster-in-Law. And I was like, you watched like a decade-old movie and shit? And she's like, I never saw it. Jane Fonda and J-Lo. Oh, it was so funny. And she's like, and then what was she watch? She's like, sit down with me. Watch this. She's like, it's about a knight and he falls in love and he's trapped in time. My mother was fucking watching Kate and Leopold, man. Like, this old-ass movie. I was like, Ma, they made that when I worked at Miramax. She's like, oh, it's wonderful. You have to, Meg Ryan's in it. Look at her hair. And I was like, I did in the year 2000 when they made the fucking motion picture.
Does HBO Max have like a mom channel that just literally pulls you in this loop of non-offensive old shit?
I think once you go from like, you know, fucking Father of the Bride, they're like, all right, well, what's close to that? And they're like, Kate and Leopold.
Tiger, I just watched this show, Euphoria. You should watch this with me.
That would be amazing. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to be like, Ma, here's a brand new show for you to watch. It's called Euphoria. Kids love it. See if you can make heads or tails of it.
Can we get some fentanyl?
It'd be amazing. Because I come down every morning, like when I wake up and shit, and sometimes she's awake, sometimes she's fucking out cold. And, you know, I look real close to make sure she's breathing. And then I run upstairs and I get her tea and whatnot. And so she'll tell me what she fucking watched. She tells me, like, what she's watching while it's happening. And then, like, she watched Clerks 3. She started telling me the story. I'm like, I fucking know, man. Like, so I would love to, like, just be like, I'm going to run this Euphoria for you. I hear it's very good. And hit play and just go away for fucking 6 hours and see if I come back in the morning and she's like, these kids are fucked up. But it's been delightful, really delightful having her around, but nerve-wracking because I'm always like, don't move. It's weird. It's like life reverses. That's how she treated me when I was a kid, and now that's how I treat her when she's old. It makes more sense for me to treat her like this because she's like fucking brittle and shit. One fall and it's like, you know, she could lose a hip or whatever. But, you know, it's the turnaround or the turnabout has certainly been noticed. She's brought it up a few times. She was like, I used to baby you like you baby me. I was like, I'm not babying you. I'm just trying to make sure that, like, when I send you back to my brother Donald, like, you're not damaged. And he's like, you fucking piece of shit. You know, this is what fucking Uncle Andy did to Grandma. You know, family history have been thrown in your face. So I just, you know, it's been impeccable visit so far. I just got to make it another, like, we leave at noon tomorrow. What time is it right now? Whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's like
12, 15 hours to get her onto that fucking plane. Then I got to sweat the plane don't fucking go down. Otherwise, I'll get blamed for that shit as well somehow. Then once she's landed in my brother's car, then I'll be like, I can relax my asshole. I can unclench. It'll be fucking good. Not that my mom, that sounded weird. It was like, once my mom leaves, my asshole will be fucking unoccupied. No, like, it's just I've been clenched the whole fucking time, man, going like, don't, just move, sit, don't. Ugh. So many don'ts.
Your watch will have ended, and you can go back to just living a life in fucking Westeros, man.
That's true. Is that what they did at the end? I thought they all fucking died, and that was that.
Well, I mean, some people died, but not everybody.
No, like when you were on the Night's Watch.
Well, you have to die to get off the Night's Watch.
Right, so I don't want that.
But Jon Snow, for you guys who might have forgotten, died once in the show and then gets resurrected, and he's like, fuck it, I died. I gave you the thing. Here's my token. I'm bouncing. I'm like, you can't leave, Jon Snow. He's like, I know something. He doesn't. We'll talk more about Jon Snow later.
Is Jon Snow's back in the news?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, they put a picture up. Bless you. That was fast. That was Andrew. Andrew was there for Elvis as well. Andrew, did you like Elvis? He loved it.
He loved it.
Put that on a fucking poster. Sell some tickets. You should hear my mom. She's like, she loved it so much. She was box office prognosticating. She's like, oh, this is going to make way more money than that Top Gun. I was like, no, it ain't, Ma. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, but you're very sweet. But it should do some fucking business. It better. Fuck, my God. It looks expensive. I mean, like, I wonder if a movie costs $200 million and a shoot is, say, 4 months. What do you think the cost per day of the movie is? Somebody good at math?
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, I heard somebody go, like they were literally thinking.
That's like long division, and I'm not down for that.
Some people are like real good like that and shit.
Yeah, I'm not one of them.
Apparently.
Yeah, this was fun.
Fucking
Stumped by math.
went right off of, when math's involved, fucking everybody's like, we're drunk. What the fuck? Regardless, I wonder like what the cost is per day on a movie like that. It's got to be huge. And they had to shut down, remember? Because Tom Hanks was like the first celebrity to get COVID at that time. That's when they were making that movie.
The Hanks Wilson line had been crossed, and suddenly everybody gave a shit.
How are you? Never mind fucking me and my nonsense. What are you
I'm
up to?
good. I also saw a long, expensive movie. I saw a movie called RRR. Do you guys know about this movie? Yes, no, yes. It's fucking bonkers, man. It's an Indian film.
There's a poster for it that's up right now.
Oh, yeah, that fucking thing. Third most expensive movie ever made in India. It's 3 hours long.
Holy shit.
It's both a somewhat accurate retelling of two literal people who lived in India during the 1920s, pre the rebellion against Britain, and it's also this fucking weird-ass magical realist fantasy and a martial arts movie and a dance movie and an action movie and a, like, deep bond of brothers movie. And
Pick a fucking lane, man.
No! Every fucking lane. This movie's charging
They just
down
did every
full
movie.
speed.
They're like, what if we made every movie at once?
Yeah. And, like, every time I think I know what this movie's going to do, it does something completely differently. It's on Netflix now. And listen, you will not spend a better 3 hours if you're not an Elvis, apparently. But watch this fucking movie. Like,
What does the RRR mean? Is it short for something? Is it abbreviation?
Well, ish. Like, they have these little subtitles over the course of the movie, these chapter titles.
Yes.
And so it's like either Rage and Roar and Rebellion, or it's these two dudes' names and then a third person who I don't know. Or it's just Roar. It's all unclear. It's like a growl of joy. But no, it's fantastic. It's hard to explain.
That's the problem is, like, they don't say the name of the movie in trailers anymore. Like, in the 80s, it was always just like, Angel, hooker by day. No, fucking student by day, hooker by night. Hooker by day.
Hello. Ding dong.
People are like, it's a little early, don't you think, Angel? But they would always say the movie title, like the fucking trailer for The Empire Strikes Back literally says The Empire Strikes Back.
Right, because like
the fucking trailer for Jaws is fucking Percy Rodriguez, the greatest trailer voiceover artist of all time, going, Jaws, But nowadays they don't fucking say the trailer whatsoever. So you don't know how to say RR. No. You could be right.
Arr.
Could be and shit. You know what else we're missing these days? You know who'd settle this fucking shit?
Who could do that shit?
Mr. Movie Phone.
Remember?
Because you'd call up, he'd be like,
shit.
Rated R. Showtimes are 1 o'clock.
Press 1.
That dude was a fucking king, and now nobody talks about him anymore because of the internet.
I bet you he's like living in his penthouse like the legend, just angry that the world has passed him by. Let me tell you what I used to do. I was banging cocktail waitresses 3 at a time when my voice meant something.
When I was the voice of cinema. Fuck, man. I know how he feels. 1.6 per day? Thank you for doing the math. 1.6, and, appreciated that. 1.6 million a day.
That's a lot of money.
Fuck. You could make so many little movies. That was the point of all that. That's why I needed all that math.
How many? So many.
So many fucking movies.
You could make like 80 little movies.
What else did you do besides watch TV?
Well, what else am I supposed to do?
I know, that sounded very dismissive.
Yeah,
I didn't mean it like that.
Besides, like leave the house? No. Fuck you. I've been writing A lot. I'm on the show that I'm working on that I still can't talk about because that's, come on.
What the fuck, Secret Squirrel? Why can't you tell us?
Because, for all the reasons I can never tell.
Just test the fucking theory, man. Test the waters and be like, here it is. Blah. Put it out there and shit.
No.
Come on, do it for a free podcast.
Wouldn't it be great? Just fucking burn everything down just to see what happens.
I do that every few years with my career. It's healthy.
A forest needs a fire sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to fucking raise the earth.
Things are going too well for you, champ.
Exactly.
Light some shit on fire.
Sometimes you just got to make yoga hosers. It's my second yoga hosers joke of the night. If I make a third one, I would have set of steak knives.
So yes, I've been writing pretty heavily the last couple of weeks. Took a break to come here tonight and play with you. Watching the TV that I'm supposed to watch because we have shit we need to talk about. So I'm now caught up on The Boys.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I can't tell you much about The Boys, but I'll be able to tell you a whole fucking bunch of shit about Kate and Leopold. I can't wait to watch The Boys. And once my mom is safely ensconced on the plane and shit, maybe I'll relax and watch. How many episodes of The Boys?
5.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. That's like a day of The Boys, man. That's something to do by myself because I asked my wife and she was like, I'll watch season 3 with you. I was like, you can't watch season 3 unless you watch season 1 and 2. She's like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, why are you fucking breaking the rules and shit, man? And then I'm going to have to pause it and explain every fucking thing. She's like, I'm only going to half watch it. And I was like, well, then don't fucking watch it at all. So I'll watch it by myself and shit.
This is my thing now.
Yeah, fuck.
But yeah, The Boys is fucking great. Episode 5 was good. It seems to be taking a little bit of a break before apparently what we're getting is Hero-gasm.
Yeah.
Where everybody fucks everybody, I think. Near as I can tell, that's what we're lining up for. That's on the runway, is the biggest superhero orgy anybody's ever seen, which is not hard to accomplish because I've never seen one. I don't watch that kind of porn.
That's not your category on Pornhub?
It's not my bag, baby.
What is your category on Pornhub? Now that we're there, what's the one that you?
Now that we're there,
what's the one that you gravitate toward?
I like road stops. Like
I don't know if I'm familiar with that category. What is that?
It's one of those. My car's busted. So, can somebody fix my car? Yeah.
That has its own category,
bro. Everything has its own category.
Apparently, holy shit. So wait, it's like, so the old porno was like Pizza Man. This porno is I'm stuck.
It's AAA, basically.
And AAA shows up.
Yeah, but sometimes it's
with the right tool.
Sometimes it's Triple D.
Oh shit. Oh, what? Meaning vice versa? Like guys break down and a lady shows up? Because that would be equality.
Or more than one.
But they all fuck in the street? Where is this happening? Where are these cars pulled over? I have.
Why don't we do it in the road?
Look, I have seen people fuck in the street. My point is, not enough. So I'm like, where is this happening? Is it off-road? Like, is it usually like off the highway?
Yeah, usually it starts on the highway and then shit moves into like a picnic setting. Or
oh my God, they have to move?
I mean,
could you imagine if you had to move? Like you started fucking in one place and your wife was like, let's move.
Company move?
I mean, maybe people do that. Maybe there's a lot of silence there because people are like, I always fucking more. I pick her up and I go over here and shit, and that makes me feel so fucking lazy right now. Maybe I should up my game. Fuck, I'm 51 and I'm only realizing this now. God damn it. And how am I supposed to do that with my mother in the house, Mark?
I enjoyed this roller coaster, Kevin.
Yeah. I did. It was
a whole narrative.
I'm back.
So what the... how did we... superhero orgy.
No, fucking back to the road porn that you like. Why? Is that based on like one time your car broke down or some such shit?
I mean, I've had lots of cars break down and it's never happened. But that's
oh my God.
Fantasies are for.
Maybe you just drive the cars, you don't get them fixed because you're like, if it breaks down, it could happen.
Yeah. And so I've left 19 cars on the side of the road.
So are these sound like they're pre-produced porn? So it's like make pretend and shit like that. I like real shit. I love like just real shit. When they're like, we're a couple and we just film ourselves fucking. I'm like, God damn it. That's America, man. Like fucking, could you imagine having that kind of pride where you're like, we're going to fuck each other and we're going to let you watch? That is nuts, man.
Well, you're an indie filmmaker, so I see how that...
It's true.
That all comes
It's
together.
true. I'm like, fuck, that's cheaper than Clerks. Look at that. And way more entertaining and funnier. Look at that fucking dick. It's huge.
Like your DIY spirit, kids.
Yeah. All right, so back to what we were talking about.
Yes, The Boys. I'm about halfway through Stranger Things, this most recent season. Have you watched any of it?
Don't make me say it.
What?
Nobody's going to treat me seriously on this show ever
Because when
again.
you say you've never watched Stranger
I've
Things?
never watched Stranger Things yet, so I've yet to watch it.
Look.
I'm going to get to it. It's not because I'm like, I'm fucking angry at this show. I don't know who gave me this, but this does not work. So if you want to make it work, is this yours? Yeah. Well, then make it work.
Make it work. You better work.
I will get around to watching that for sure.
No, you won't.
I will. I've got so many episodes. How many seasons I got?
This is the 4th season?
Jesus. Really? 4 already?
4 already.
Yeah, man. So that'll be how many episodes per season?
Usually between 8 and 10.
I'll be a weekend one day, man. I'll be like, let's watch Stranger Things. We almost did a couple weeks ago, and then we started Gaslight instead. With I think that's poor. I wouldn't do it with the white. You know what? Should I redo it with the silver?
That was new too, though.
Oh, the fuck! Where was the silver that I just had?
I don't know.
Fuck. Hold on one sec. We got a show to do.
Hi, kids.
Yeah, fucking sorry. Whenever the part of the benefit of coming to the live show is that people bring shit, put it on the bar. Obviously, you've seen us through many episodes, sit around and sign shit. But every once in a while, somebody hands you the driest ass marker. All right, so we're trying this one.
You have to do it doucement. Do it slowly. Ooh, new marker. Ooh, that's pretty. You guys can't see this at home, but that's a really good build.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, look, you can see it from home. Fucking, it's that bright. Fuck them white markers, man.
Yeah.
This is being
Happy
used on what?
Juneteenth.
On this as well. All right, back to you.
Nothing. I'm just inciting a race riot. Don't mind me. Like you do on a Tuesday in Hollywood. All right, so I talked about the crazy Indian film that I saw, RRR. Do you want to talk about Kenobi, which you're finally caught up with?
Yeah, let's do
No.
that. I finally watched, how many episodes are up?
5.
So there's only one left, correct?
Yes.
Fuck, I thought you were going to keep talking. I was going to sign, but I saw you reach for your drink, and I'm like, we're both going to be silent.
It's okay.
Go, take your drink. Yeah.
You're still being silent.
I'm only silent when I get paid to be silent. All right, take over. Kenobi episode 5. Go.
Kenobi episode. Well, dude, I talked about it for an hour last week when you hadn't
Fuck,
seen
man,
it.
just say some shit so I can sign this.
Did you like it?
Oh, God damn it. Say some shit until I sign this.
No. Because I don't wanna.
Bro, the difficulty of signing a piece of clothing is like fucking right up there with running a marathon. The difficulty of signing a fucking jersey with a paint pen marker and shit exponentially increases. Take over the show for a few minutes. This is going to take everything I have.
It's like I've been fasting for 3 days, and I gotta sign this shirt. All right, listen. Here's my. But see now, I feel like.
Bamf.
Oh, Bam
Fucking
Man.
thank God. Give it up for Banff Man, everybody. This fucking fumbling fool over here is letting the show die. Go ahead, Banff Man. What do you got?
Mark, do you think, because you are a little
Your
less than
idea is to throw the show
lukewarm.
back to Mark, man? You're supposed to fucking save it.
Little lukewarm on the show. Do you think they turn it around tonight?
Here's I've been thinking about this the last couple of weeks, and the thing that I've discovered about how I feel about the show is that I'm unclear what the Obi-Wan story they're telling is. Because when we first meet Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 1, he's a broken-ass man. You know, he's essentially the same guy we meet, maybe a little bit more grim than Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, but in basically the same place. Like, I don't give a shit about anything. I'm here on this rock, just kind of maybe watching this kid.
Cutting meat.
Cutting fucking meat. Like making space sushi.
Oh, that's his job, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, yeah, I no Jedis here. I'm just a butcher.
Do you think he goes like, back in the day, I had a tool called a lightsaber. It would have cut this meat so much easier than
No
this
doubt.
knife.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But so, I'm trying to figure
Also,
out...
when they cook the meat, he's like, back in the day,
Wait,
I
do you
watched
want
that
me to
happen
talk,
to my
or do you
fucking...
not want me to
Sorry,
talk?
go ahead.
We spent
I wanted you to talk. I gave it a whole fucking floor, and you were like, humming,
And then-
this motherfucker had to come in and save the day.
And
And
then
now
he
you
fixed
want to
it.
talk? Take it.
Now I don't want it.
No, fuck.
No, listen. I'm trying to figure out what Obi-Wan Kenobi's arc is. Like where he's starting, where he's evolving to, and where he's going.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem as if there's very much for him to go. Because he starts fucking grim and dispirited.
Yeah.
He encounters young fucking Princess Leia. Does some weird-ass precocious kid shit. Maybe gets involved with Vader again, who he cannot kill. Leia cannot die, and he cannot die. So it's a bunch of like just moving deck chairs.
That's
on
why
the
it's like
Titanic.
anybody who wasn't in Star Wars probably going to get killed
Yeah,
along
all
the way.
of you red shirts, you're all just wearing red
like
shirts.
the lady, the Imperial officer, I was
Yeah.
like, she ain't going to make it. And sure
I mean-
enough, spoilers, she didn't make it.
I'm waiting for fucking Ice Cube to be like, today was not a good day.
Yes. He might be next. Yeah, man, it's true. It's like Rogue One. You're like, none of these fuckers are going to make it, man. I saw the next movie.
Yeah. So, like, and I just kept on wondering, and especially, like, I really like what they're doing with Reva. I just don't like how they're doing it with Reva.
What do you mean? Why?
In that, okay, this is a little bit of an insidery screenwriting thing, but there's a storytelling mode that's called Cards Up, and there's one called Cards Down. Cards Down is when you don't know anything about the character, and any information you get about that person is a reveal. Cards Up is you know everything you need to know about that character. They tell you what you need to know about that character.
Mm-hmm.
And things can happen that are surprising, but she herself is not a mystery. And so I'm just wondering how much more solid the revelation in episode 5 would have been that she's hunting Vader if we didn't also have to absorb the knowledge that she was a youngling, which we had all kind of assumed she was, but she actually comes out and says it. But if you start the show with, I was a youngling and I then turned to the dark side because the Jedis didn't give a shit about me. It's like, oh, all right, I get that's why you're evil. 100%. I got it. You don't like Jedis because they fucking didn't save you when you needed to be saved. And then the twist being, oh, no, I'm really in this to kill fucking Vader. I've been doing all of this shit. I'm undercover. I've been just trying to get next to this fool so I can fucking
The
murk
only
him.
problem with that is the whole premise of the first half is I hate Jedis because blah, blah, blah. And then Vader would be like, oh, you were one of the younglings I didn't finish the job on? Come here. And he kills her. So she has to be undercover.
Well, she can be. The Cards Up is to the audience. The audience can know this. She can betray this in episode 3 when she's looking at this tunnel and mystically discovers what it's supposed to mean, as opposed to, oh, I took this tunnel. This was my journey.
Right.
Which, again, we all sort of intuited this as people who like watch stories. But to have her have some engagement with that part of her past that the audience gets to see, but the characters don't, just helps us know who she is, helps us know what her struggle is, and helps us think we know what she's going to do. So when she twists it, that's the twist. Not, oh, here's new information you didn't have before. Like, oh, okay, she's that. Oh, but she wants to kill Vader. Why couldn't she kill him any other? She's like standing next to that dude like 4 times in the show with a lightsaber on her. Why? Okay, I guess now's the time then.
Well, I mean, she did try to attack him, and he was like, "Pshwang," you know, like spoilers. Like,
spoilers.
he is, you know,
He is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I get it.
This is the thing that I was fucking, like, impressed by. And I don't know if this is something to be impressed by. Maybe people will be like, no, this removes the majesty of fucking Star Wars. Most people think of Star Wars as movies. Star Wars is now a series of television shows. And, you know, with The Mandalorian, you're not thinking about it so much because, hey, he wasn't even in any of the Star Wars movies. He's connected to the universe, but he's not, you know, fucking classic Star Wars. You know, when you're playing with Obi-Wan Kenobi, young Princess Leia, Darth Vader. You are playing with legacy Star Wars characters who have loomed large. Those 3 characters were in the very first fucking one dating back to 77 and shit. The idea that we now live in a world where they structured this last episode with Vader flashing back and Ben Kenobi flashing back. Something that you've seen a gazillion times in TV shows across fucking broadcasting history. And now they get to do it with Star Wars. We had a fucking Vader flashback. Has that ever fucking happened in a Star Wars anything ever? Have you ever gone into Vader's mind? We watched him fucking look out the window for years. Whenever he was pensive, he was just looking out into fucking space. Now he's doing the same thing, but we get to see what he's thinking about. And apparently all he thinks about is, I fucking hate Ben Kenobi. Oh, God, I still fucking hate him. What a dick. I was burning and he left me like a fucking hot dog.
And also that he was just cucking out on Padme, because that's the building he's staring at when he's on Coruscant, is the high-rise that Padme is in, because it's probably beginning of Attack of the Clones. It's kind of that timeline.
When he's Vader?
When he's Anakin.
Right.
Before the
Most
duel.
of the staring I'm talking about is all the Vader
But
shit.
that's just what he does. He stares out into the distance.
But my point is now
hungering
we
for
get
something.
to watch. But now well, that's the thing. Here's the question.
Yes.
Because you're a fucking writer. So am I sometimes. But like, is it you know what? It's not about better or worse. We came from a world where it's like you said. He's looking out there. You cast onto him hungering.
Like for food.
Yeah, he's just like, I want a burger. Where's the next fucking stop? But like the idea that he wants more. Never once in all the time I've watched Star Wars did I think, this motherfucker is hungering for fucking whatever the fuck. In my imagination, he looks out into space and he's just like, I hate all these fucking fools. That's fucking Darth Vader to me. Now we literally know what he thinks about when he looks into space, because they've shown us something they never would have done, never have done, and never would have done in a feature, because you ain't got that kind of time in a feature. You got 2 hours, 2.5, you got some shit to do, man. This is like, we got 6 hours or whatever the fuck. We get 6 episodes. We can space it out. We could do storytelling of different forms, shapes and forms per episode. So I personally enjoyed it. That I was like, oh my God, they treated Darth Vader and Ben Kenobi like they would have treated fucking Sydney Bristow in Alias and her dad or whatever the fuck. Like, it's a trope, a writing trope. Like, I've seen it time and time again. Doesn't mean it's bad. You know, like, just like good guys and bad guys is a writing trope. That's not bad. But we've never seen it in the Star Wars universe, at least with these big characters. I'm sure somebody's like, hey, man, in the fucking Clone Wars episode, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure. But with fucking with Ben Kenobi, Darth Vader himself particularly, seeing that dude and then having them do a close-up and then go to a flashback is classic television storytelling, where you're like, now we're inside the character's mind. And they have never done that with Darth Vader. So my question to you is, I'm not saying better or worse, do you prefer the mystery Vader from the movies, or do you prefer, whatever the fuck, a Vader who we look inside of, whose memories, whose feelings we're getting to see? And now don't come at me with like, hey man, we heard his feelings when he was dying in Return of the Jedi and shit like that. No, this ain't that. Like, this isn't, dude, inside his head. They've never done this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Banff man. Jump in before Mark answers. Have they ever done this in a Star Wars thing?
People in chat are saying they did it in comic books.
Yeah,
Of course. Absolutely. But that's
that's-
not the fucking conversation we're having now, is it?
But I will
They've
say,
done a lot of fucking things in comic books. No, in movies, in all of the movies.
We haven't seen it before. The thing that I was going to talk about was, and it's like a 3-panel comic book story, and it takes place in the Empire Strikes Back timeline, and it's Vader going to the fucking, whoever the fuck it was, I don't remember, but the people who dismantled C-3PO. And they're like, well, Lord Vader, we found this droid that, clearly belonged to Han Solo.
Yes.
And then you see this shot of Vader picking up C-3PO's head.
A drawing.
A drawing,
Yes.
yes. But the idea that he built that fucking droid. Like, he did that, and he
Yes.
remembers this.
Yes.
And there is still some attachment that he has to it, or
Yes.
decides not to have to it.
Yes.
And then the other response, the third panel, is like, burn it, or incinerate it.
Fan made, right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
That
it's
was
fan-
Dark Horse.
That was Dark
Isn't
Horse.
Dark Horse?
How many
Does that
times?
count as canon?
How many times have you guys seen Empire Strikes Back?
How many times?
Lots,
What a great
right?
fucking question. How many times have I seen Empire
Hundreds?
Strikes Back? No, I'm not a fucking nerd. I probably across my lifetime I would have seen it at least 100 times.
Okay, so when they're in the carbon freezing chamber and Chewbacca goes nuts, Boba Fett points his rifle at Chewbacca and Vader knocks it down. Why would he knock it down? C-3PO is on Chewbacca's back.
Bullshit. That's retcon shit right there. Which is fine. I'm happy to play that game, but that is not the fucking intention that Irving Kershner or fucking Lawrence Kasdan or George Lucas had for that moment in Empire. But now that you raise that point, why in that movie, never mind this fucking made up bullshit comes years later, why in Empire Strikes Back does he stop him from firing? Because he might be hitting her, he might be hitting Han Solo. He doesn't give a fuck about Chewie, and he certainly don't give a fuck about C-3PO. Why does he?
In 1980, I have no idea. But if you watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, but don't
6
do
in
that.
order, then you watch that and you're like, oh my God, of course.
You're right. Excellent point. Yes, that's one of those fill in the gap things. But what,
So maybe George watched that and goes, why did Irving Kershner do this? And then he's like, what if Vader made C-3PO? I'm going to write that as a big plot point.
I'll buy that. That's kind of I'm down with that as a secret origin.
All I'll say is that I appreciate when you get to add a certain amount of character texture to these stories, and so I dig that sort of thing.
It's cool that you get to go in his
it's
head,
super
right?
cool that you get to go in his head. You get access to him because we've lived with that character for long enough.
But I bet you there are people who would be like, I don't want to be in his fucking head. I like him being a mystery. The more we know about it, like, there are people that don't like the prequels because they're like, I didn't want to know he was a little boy that fucking, like, didn't like sand in his underpants or whatever the fuck. Like, it's like it kind of ruins the mystery of the character. I'm okay. I've been with these movies since the beginning. They're going to keep going with them. Give me more detail. Rather than him looking out a window, I thought it was cool that they were like, oh, he's thinking about something, and here it is.
Yeah, it's like I need less plot, but I like those little character moments of now I get to know a thing about a person.
Yes.
That doesn't contradict what I thought I knew, that doesn't retcon anything, but just is adding more color to that character. So I'm totally cool with that. That's fun.
Nice to see. That was from the water, sorry.
Yeah, bless you.
Nice to see Aiden Christensen back in the ponytail.
Yeah.
In the thin-ass ponytail, fucking lightsaber fighting.
I appreciate that they didn't go like deep uncanny valley on the de-aging, but that dude does not look like he's 19 anymore.
Well, I mean, he is, what is he, 40 at this point?
He's 41.
Yeah. I was okay. I took the leap on that one. But it was, it was cool, man. It was dope. I saw a fucking image online today of Liam Neeson lightsaber fighting. Was that old or new?
Probably old because Liam Neeson's probably sitting there going, I got stabbed in the gut and only got one movie. And two of these fuckers have got stabbed in the gut and they're both alive. What gives?
Yeah, and this girl got stabbed in the gut twice. Once as a girl and now as an adult, and she's just marching around like nobody's business.
I mean, you'd be crazy to think that he's not going to show up in that final episode.
If he doesn't show up, the movie or the miniseries has failed, in my opinion. You have to have him come back.
Him of all people, especially when you keep showing Ben Kenobi going like, Qui-Gon, are you there? Qui-Gon, can you hear me? And
it's
shit.
got to be like Qui-Gon, who always was like too in his own head to join the Jedi Council, too rebellious. He's got to show up and be like, Obi-Wan, you were tasked with this thing. The Jedi are too dogmatic. You changed, you were able to pivot. You went and saved the girl. You've done the right thing. I'm going to teach you how to be a blue ghost now. And then you get that bridge to when he becomes a blue ghost in Empire Strikes Back.
Is blue ghost like a term of endearment?
Force
Don't we
ghost.
always say force ghost?
Force ghost.
Are you trying? Why are you? Stop trying to make blue ghost happen.
He's got a new drink happening, man.
You threw me there. I was like, blue ghost? What the fuck? I smoked that one away. This is, I learned a lot of people online, are like, hey man, fucking Disney keeps ruining Star Wars. I disagree. More Star Wars is better than not more Star Wars in my book. So obviously I'm happy they keep doing it. And I actually like what they've been doing. I think it's pretty hardcore that they stuck with killing the fucking younglings and hung like a big part of this whole miniseries on, I am literally a child that fucker stabbed to death and I didn't die, but that was his intent and we all died. Everyone remember that? Everybody fucking died and shit. That's a big like plot point on a Disney Plus TV show. I say hats off. I know some people out there are like, he's fucking paid to say that. I wish Disney paid me to say nice things about Star Wars. I wish Disney paid me at all. That'd be fucking amazing. I just say it because I mean it. I think it's fucking pretty metal, man.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this a bit last week, that I do love that they've stuck to their guns. That
Yeah.
if you're going to make him the most evil person in the galaxy that needs the redemption the most, then you got to fucking live with that.
Because I was saying last week they could have backdoor, like he didn't kill those kids. Just when they cut away, he was like, all right, fucking everyone get out of here. Or he was like, let's turn him to the dark side, which would be, just as fucking kind of sinister, but not as bad as fucking like, oh, I cut that kid's fucking head off with a lightsaber. That's what keeps me up at night and shit. Not Kate and Leopold thinking about that fucking kid I killed. So the fact that they didn't is pretty... Yes. Well done, Andrew. Well done. Somewhere my mother's getting moist. The fact that they didn't, the fact that it's pretty hardcore is something that everyone just kind of glosses over when they shit on the show. They're just like, oh man, it ain't fucking, it's bad Star Wars. I disagree. It's good Star Wars and more Star Wars. And again, like, fucking my whole life I was like, man, I wish we had a Darth Vader show. Now we got it. And you know what? They're all talking about how much they love doing it, so there's probably going to be another season of this shit.
I mean, yeah, this had been pitched to us as a limited series, and every quote from Ewan McGregor was like, I'd do more. He's like, oh, fuck it, all right, let's have more then. Put up or shut up.
I'm sure Hayden Christensen's like, fuck yeah, I'll do more. It's the easiest job in the world, man. I'm all for more.
I'd say to people who, look, there are some Star Wars I really dislike. Very much, yeah.
What is it? Do you share that, or is that something you keep private?
Yeah, I'm
As
not
the guy
gonna
who
get
runs
into it.
Scum and Villainy
Yeah,
Cantina.
I love all Star Wars except for the stuff I don't. But the thing is, the stuff that I don't like, it's easy to forget because, like, wait 2 minutes, right? Like, the problem with us is, and I may have said this last show, but we grew up in a time where it was like, well, you have 6 hours of Star Wars until 1999 from 1983. Yeah. And then we got 6 more hours of Star Wars, and it was like, now it's gone forever. And then, now we get 6 hours of Star Wars 3 times a year. So it's like, you don't like Kenobi? Okay, wait for Andor. You don't like Andor? Wait for Bad Batch. You don't like Bad Batch? Wait for Mandalorian. Like, there's 30 hours of live-action Star Wars being produced all the time. Pick your favorite 6 hours and forget the rest.
And you know who fucking is not speaking up? Like, people that just love the show. And the numbers seem to support the people that are watching and shit. But, like, I haven't heard from anybody in real life who's like, fuck this show. It's like, oh my God, there's a Darth Vader show. This rocks. Nobody expected the Princess Leia fucking left turn or anything like that. We all saw the trailer, so we thought, all right, he's going to fucking stare at Luke for 6 episodes and shit. But they actually figured out a way to have an adventure, man. Like, if they want to do it again, I'm all fucking for it. Just put the toys back where you found them when you got started. That's all I ask. Make sure that it all connects So then when we fucking find him in Star Wars, it's like, yeah, that's the same fucking dude. Not like, where's his robot arm that he got in season 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Spoilers. What else have you watched?
You caught up on Ms. Marvel?
I am. What a charming fucking show. I absolutely love it. It makes me like miss being a teenager. Very whimsical, wistful. That kid's a fucking star. And it's very, I wasn't crazy familiar with that character. It just plays like Spider-Man, Spider-Man origin story. Not as dire, right? There's no like, holy shit, Uncle Ben got killed. But it's perfect entry point for kids to a comic book, or in this instance, to a comic book property. And, so many people shit on that because they're like, well, it ain't for me. And it's like, I know, but there was a time where comics were primarily for who they're going after with this show. A younger audience and stuff. Like, yeah, everybody can enjoy the Avengers and stuff, but you need to hook kids when they're fucking young if you want to grow them up into people that continue liking this shit when they get older. So much so that when they have kids, they're like, oh, we got to watch these Marvel things because I used to watch them with my parents and stuff. So I find it charming as fuck, man. Like, and I think it's exactly right for the audience that they're trying to reach. And I'm not that audience, but it's working for me. Those directors are incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Like, they just figure out how to work graphics into everything and stuff. Same guys doing Batgirl. Yeah, I absolutely dig it. Last episode, there wasn't as much, super heroics and shit. And even so, it still carried all the way through. I was never like, fucking move on. It was interesting. Like, they're showing me a world that I'm unfamiliar with. And I don't just mean like, oh, the world of like a Muslim family, but like fucking teenagers today. I'm like, I don't have one of those. I don't fucking hang around high schools anymore and shit. It's been a long time.
The restraining order took care of that.
Yeah, they were like, go away, even at Degrassi High. So watching this show was a real like, insight into, oh, is that what kids are like in high school? Interesting. Yeah, I've dug it. I think it's wonderful. How many episodes is this? 6 or 8?
I think it's 8.
Keep them coming, man. And this is the character they're bringing into the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels.
The Marvels, yeah. And I think we also get Monica Rambeau or Maria. I can never remember which Rambeau we're getting. Which one was the mom? Was the mom Maria?
Mom is Maria, and
so
the
Monica
kid is Monica.
Yeah, from WandaVision. So we get her in there. We get clearly Brie Larson, and then we're getting.
Did I dream
Kamala
this,
Khan.
or did they announce a Wonder Man show?
They did announce.
Is that in the
Wonder Man
news?
show. Yes.
So we'll get to that. I didn't know if that was a fucking thing that I knew or not. Oh my God, how weird. We'll get to that. Yes, Marvel, Ms. Marvel continues to delight. Obi-Wan Kenobi continues to fucking fascinate and entertain and thrill the fucking 7-year-old in me who just wants to watch fucking a Darth Vader TV show, and we're getting it. I didn't know we were getting that. Like, I knew he was going to be in it, and they were like, yeah, Darth Vader's going to be in it. I thought they were going to save him in the end. They'd have one lightsaber fight. We get to spend so much time in this fucker's head and shit, see how petty and shitty he is. I love that. So thumbs up on those fucking shows.
Yeah, I would just like some clarity on how the Force works, because it seems to be working in an arbitrary and convenient way, which is I'm gonna start a fire, and that's gonna burn you, Obi-Wan, because I'm a petty bitch, and then I put the fire out with the Force, and then somebody lights another fire, and I can't do anything about it.
He's like, look, I can start it. I can't put it out. What am I, a fucking fireman?
Yeah. And then there's a fucking spaceship that I'm going to rip out of the sky in a completely badass display of power.
I saw that.
And then that's cool, but then I missed the other spaceship that was right behind it, and I can't do it again.
Yes.
Like,
he was just like, oh, fuck.
I blew my wad. I guess I
got to power up first. I love not only that he fucking dragged the ship down, when he tore that fucker open, it was like, I was like, holy fuck, man, that looks so fucking badass. But, yeah, I thought the whoa, right behind it was a little fucking hokey, but They could have just had it, up in space already. They had taken off, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But I liked him ripping open the ship.
That was badass.
That was very badass.
And the duel with Reva is great.
Yeah.
Like, that's some deep force shit right there, which he probably could have used to keep the other ship from flying away, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a sponsor?
We do.
Speaking
of getting it up and keeping it up.
Oh, yes, folks. We don't get to do the show unless somebody fucking sponsors it. And tonight, our sponsor, as always, they've come back again and again, man, which means somebody out there is fucking blue chewing it, man. Blue Chew. Give it up for the good folks at Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen. They're in the business of keeping you up. Literally, aren't they, Mark?
They are. Guys, it's time to bring that summer heat into the bedroom.
Oh,
Mind
shit.
you, I'm reading their words.
Yes.
These are not our words. We will attempt to put some
You don't
spin.
call it the summer heat?
I don't. And I don't say the temperatures aren't the only thing that's rising this summer. That's right. This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, confidence can take you far in life. It can also help in the bedroom, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Go to BlueChew.com, enter the code FATMAN at checkout, and just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code FATMAN, to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Oh, my God. We love the folks at Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast, and we love the folks at Blue Chew for being like, don't you want to fucking chew this instead of swallowing it and shit? Yeah, more of this.
That's what she said.
That's brilliant technology and a brilliant bumper. Give it up for the good folks at Blue Chew, our sponsor tonight. All right, we got news. I know we got news.
We do.
Mr. Marc Bernardin is a man of letters, and he's a man of news. He used to work for the news, then he fucking left. He escaped from the newsroom and shit. But every once in a while, he likes to look back at secret origins. Fuck it. Mark's got the news. Give it up for Mark with the news.
Okay. I think we all have certain feelings about the way Game of Thrones ended. Some of us have great feelings about it, right? Yeah? Anyone? Loved it?
I mean, look.
Yeah. It's a lot of, yeah.
So much of it was fucking amazing. That the landing was bumpy. Like, it doesn't make me go like, fuck that show. I still think of like the Red Wedding fucking episode. Still think of like fucking, her being like, this isn't a negotiation. And fucking the dragon shows up. She fires up all the ships. And there's so many like magical moments in that show that even like the last episode being what it was or the last season being what it was didn't pooch the whole thing for me.
No. And we have more Game of Thrones coming. There's a shit ton of Game of Thrones coming on the pike. We get House of the Dragon in August. There's 2 or 3 live action shows already in development. And one of them seems to be a Jon Snow sequel show.
Is that right?
That's right. Kit Harington is attached to reprise the role should a series move forward. He was twice nominated for an Emmy. In the 8th and final season, Jon Snow discovered that he was actually Aegon Targaryen. You want some Blue Chew? You can have the Blue Chew. And yes, since apparently not continuing in any more Eternals movies, Kit Harington was like, yo, give me another franchise. And so he is coming back, and George R.R. Martin is apparently on board with whatever they're going to be doing, which nobody really knows. He just left to go be king up in the north, beyond the wall. And so now we're going to discover what that is. Is anybody interested? Okay.
I already got HBO, so I'll fucking watch it.
Would you have rathered a Jon Snow show or a Pirate Arya show?
I would have watched that. That would have been more amazing. Absolutely.
Well, you're not getting.
Can we have both?
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a version in which she appears in the show. Maybe we're just going to continue the sort of Stark children as they go forward. It's unclear. So much of this is still wet clay, but it seems to be a thing that's on the fucking drawing boards.
George R.R. Martin is like, money is coming.
Money is coming.
Has he ever finished writing?
I fear that
He still hasn't finished?
What is
Even
it?
though they finished a while ago? And
Yeah.
he got to see their finish and see what they did and be like, I just have to do the opposite of that. He's still not done? Man, fucking that. I'll never feel bad about missing a deadline in my life.
Yeah. So, hey, man, like, HBO is, and maybe this is part of the new directive from the new boss. Now that Discovery, and it's always weird to say this, that Discovery bought Warner Brothers, but they did, and the new boss is like franchises. Give me shit that makes money, give me shit that brings eyeballs to HBO. You know what'll do it? Fucking Jon Snow.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
So, we're getting it.
He's like, you know what ain't gonna do it? The fucking $200 million J.J. Abrams show.
Yeah. Or the Wonder Twins movie.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
What, did J.J. find a home for that show yet?
Not that has been announced.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I thought that'd be snapped up quick. Somebody else would be like, yeah, we'll fucking do it.
I mean, it might be. They
They
haven't
just
announced
haven't
it
announced it yet?
Yeah.
Good point.
Meanwhile, Kevin Feige has now teased the end.
Oh!
You all right?
Fucking. That name gives me such pleasure. It's just the fucking only Kevin in this world that matters, really. Kevin fucking Feige, man. He's doing the Lord's work, man. I did not expect to enjoy movies this deeply into my adulthood. Like, you know, middle age. Fucking, I'm an old man. I'm 51. I expected, like, oh, I'd grow old, my taste would grow old and shit. That dude still has a fucking magic recipe to make me feel the way I felt when I would sit in the movie theater in the 80s, and he hasn't dropped the ball yet. So God bless him, man. He's my favorite fucking storyteller right now. For me, I'm not saying he's the world's best. I'm saying for what I'm looking for, what makes me fucking happy, he does it on a consistent fucking basis. And I don't say this going, I want a job. I never want to work there. Unless you want me to cameo in something, I would do that in a heartbeat, Kevin Feige. But like fucking, I ain't angling for a job to like make a thing. That shit seems too hard. I just love what they do over there, man. And I love that he seems to know what he's doing. Every once in a while I read a thing on the internet where like, he has no plan. I was like, well, if that's the fucking case, then let him fucking continue to wing it, because I've loved everything they've done so far.
Speaking of him and not having
Except
a plan.
the Eternals. Fuck, that was long. God damn it. Not bad, but just fucking long and shit. But well made.
Kevin Feige is, as we're coming up on Thor Love and Thunder's release.
Oh, that looks fucking amazing. Brett Deacon invited us to go see it in 4DX.
Oh, man, my loins are not ready for that.
Can you imagine Taika Waititi movie in fucking 4DX and shit? You'll be coming the whole time, man. That chair won't stop moving. Oh, that movie's gonna be fucking amazing.
As we're nearing the end of Phase 4, says Kevin Feige, I think people will start to see where this next saga is going.
Where do you think it's going? Secret Wars?
Secret Wars seems like a pretty logical guess. He says, in an interview with Total Film, I think there have been many clues already that are at least apparent to me of where this whole saga is going, but we'll be a little more direct about what that is in the coming months to set a plan so audiences who want to see the bigger picture can get a tiny, tiny bit more of the roadmap. And the coming months are going to bring us Thor, Love and Thunder, and they're also going to bring D23.
That's their Disney's Comic-Con.
Yeah, D23 Expo 2022, which is in September. And they'll also be at San Diego Comic-Con, but they'll probably save their big guns for D23. And, you know, so who the fuck knows what they're going to announce, but Secret Wars is not a bad guess at all.
What else could there be? Like, what are the other big storylines they could take a swing at? I never would have imagined if somebody said, where do you think they're going to take the Marvel Universe? Like, I wouldn't have said, oh, they should go Infinity fucking Gauntlet. That wouldn't have been my first fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, I it seemed like the multiverse was going to maybe be a bigger deal than it seemed to have been. But maybe when we get Ant-Man and Quantumania, we'll see exactly what Kang is up to. We'll see exactly what all of that shit means, how the TVA plays into that. But that was like a big thread that seemed like it was going to be the domineering element of this, and it seems to have kind of faded.
What about Galactus? Do you think that could be it?
Well, the Fantastic Four at some point are coming.
They're coming.
So
Not even
Galactus is on
breathing
the
hard.
table.
But yeah, so like he could be, you want to talk about somebody to replace Thanos. Holy shit. Like this fucker's coming to eat the goddamn planet. Like that, he's as big bad as you get, man. That's pretty dope. Mm-hmm. But is there a Doctor Doom storyline that would bring everybody? Secret Wars, but he's not responsible for Secret Wars. He's just part of it. Like how Thanos was responsible for everything that happened in the Infinity Saga.
Well, I mean, there's the Secret Wars that we grew up with the Beyonder, and then there's the Secret Wars that Jonathan Hickman sort of refashioned much later on, which has lots to do with incursions and planets on top of planets.
They've brought incursions into the Marvel Universe.
Right, which I don't fully understand because that was a little bit advanced comics even for me, because Hickman's brain is frighteningly big, and the internet is happy to tell me mine is not. So yeah, I never dug into that stuff. But I mean, I'm here. If we get Secret Wars in any fashion, fucking bring it.
They got to bring in X-Men. Would you bring X-Men into the Secret Wars? Yes.
You know, I thought that Multiverse of Madness was going to be the key that unlocked all of that shit, but it seems like maybe Secret Wars is going to be the key that gets to unlock X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool and all of that stuff, like into the MCU Prime. So
MCU Prime.
MCU Prime. So yeah, whatever the fuck it is, I'm happy for it. There was also talk once upon a time that the Russo boys were interested in making a Secret Wars movie.
Yeah. They said they'd come back for that.
They said they'd come back for that. And I would happily welcome them back
Absolutely.
into the MCU.
Yeah, no doubt.
You mentioned a Wonder Man show.
I did. I prematurely Wonder Man'd all over our episode here tonight. I thought I couldn't remember if that was something I dreamt or something that I passed by on the internet. I haven't spent a lot of time. My fucking, they give you those notices on your phone where like your screen time was up, or my screen time was down 12 hours this week, and that's because I've been with my fucking mom. So I wasn't sure if that news was real. It is real. Mm-hmm. Tell me about it.
Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton has teamed up with Andrew Guest, who was a writer, producer on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community, to tackle a live-action series featuring the longtime Marvel character. I know very little about Wonder Man. What the fuck's the deal?
He's a West Coast Avenger. He's an actor. Was a Simon West. Mm-hmm. And that's all I know.
Who I remember that Nathan Fillion had a cameo.
Yeah.
Like there's a movie
as a poster in
yeah.
one of the Guardians. I think Guardians 2.
Well, according to this here news post, Wonder Man is one of Marvel's oldest characters. First introduced in 1964 in the pages of Avengers number 9. He was initially a villain and only appeared sporadically in the early Marvel age, but was reconceived as a hero and an Avengers in the late 1970s. In the 80s, he came into his own. Simon Williams was a founding member of the Los Angeles-based West Coast Avengers. And he also developed strong ties to classic and now blah, 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 Vision and Scarlet Witch. And at one point, there was romantic feelings between Simon Williams and Wanda Maximoff.
Is that right?
That is right.
Fuck, man. All right, so he's getting a show.
He's getting a show. The question that we started to pose last week, that we've been posing for the last 8 weeks in our ongoing series that we like to call Ezra Miller is apparently an asshole.
Oh, my God. Fucking, could you imagine if you're Warner Brothers? I mean, number one, could you imagine if you're every person who's had to deal with Ezra Miller? Like, fucking, it never seems to end fucking well.
No.
But could you imagine if you're like, every day you open up the paper and you're like, please, God, no. And you're like, oh, my God, again. It just doesn't fucking stop. At what point, they've already issued some sort of, I don't know if they've issued, but word is they're like, we're never working with this kid again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be enough, though, to save their picture.
I mean, Vanity Fair did a pretty good summation roundup of where everything stands. And ultimately, it's, yes, Warner Brothers has said that this is going to be the one and only Flash movie starring Ezra Miller. That doesn't solve the problem of they currently have a Flash movie starring Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
The movie's coming out next summer, and can they count on him to lie low enough that maybe people can forget that there are restraining orders against him?
Based on recent history, no. Like, because seems to be a story every other week or something. And you're saying this movie don't come out for a year?
Yeah, June 2023.
I don't know, man. This is a tough call. I don't run a studio and shit, but like, if it were me, I might just be like, where's Christopher Plummer?
Sadly, dead.
I'm like, all right, where's Grant Gustin? You know, fucking.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Ezra Miller, but like, Ezra Miller doesn't seem to respect anybody else. So I don't know that you want that person who's like out there slapping people and with the things that have been alleged that they have done, representing a fucking superhero. Like, you know, I know these movies are mostly for adults, but kids do go to them and shit, and it's like.
And this is supposed to be the linchpin of their ongoing attempt to sort of right the ship and set a new course going forward for the Justice League. And this had Michael Keaton back. It had Ben Affleck back, both playing some version of Batman. It had a bunch of other fucking surprises that we don't know and can't possibly know until next summer. But, you know, they spent $200 million on this movie so far, which is a lot of money. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they gave Zack Snyder about $75 million to continue his director's cut for Justice League.
Yeah.
If you threw another $75 million at this movie, you can erase Ezra Miller.
Probably.
You know, like...
I mean, you know what? We don't know, but let's say minimum $75 million. Probably $100 because he's your main character. He's in every shot. Maybe you don't get rid of some of the running shots because those are, you know, fucking CG characters anyway, avatars. So maybe you get to reshape those in the computer. I mean, it is a lot of work and a lot of money. But at this point, it seems like a lot of headaches, like to try to figure out, like, or to be like, man, I hope things stay quiet for a year. It's like things haven't stayed quiet for like a month. Yeah. So
and even if they stay quiet, you got to put that dude out on a press campaign. You've got to march him in front of journalists and reporters and television cameras and expect and pray that that guy's on his best behavior for months.
I mean, it's apples and oranges, so it's an unfair comparison. But like, look at what Tom Cruise just did on Top Gun. You could not fucking avoid TC. TC was fucking everywhere, and the movie, you know, had a lot of expectation going in with people like, oh, I remember that flick. It's done incredible fucking business, but like, he's your star. Movie's called Top Gun Maverick, so he's out there doing every bit of fucking press. This movie's called The Flash. Ezra Miller plays The Flash. So, you know, you can't be like, let's have Michael Keaton do all the press. You know, it's like it's going to fall on the lead shoulders. And they can't, you know, do what they did with, it seemed like they did. I don't know if this was intentional, but when West Side Story came out, there certainly wasn't a lot of Ansel Elgort, whatever his name is,
right,
press. It was everybody else. They don't have that luxury here. This is The Flash. What do? Yeah. I say, I'm with you, man. Yeah, it's like you just bite the bullet and spend the money.
Yeah, like your
because this could be the beginning of a fucking franchise. And you know what happens if the movie makes $1 billion? You think they're really going to turn around and be like, we said we're going to work with them, and we're still not. No, they'll be like, you know what? Like, Ezra's changed.
Yes, he's on his best behavior now.
And again, I'm not campaigning against the kid, but
I mean, I will campaign against a dude who's been grooming 12 years old. I think that's okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
If that's the case.
Replace him with Don Cheadle.
I mean...
And just have him be like, look, I'm here, get over it, let's move on.
Yeah. It's like, I know I'm 60 years old, and my knees don't really work anymore.
Let me tell you something. Don Cheadle's such an amazing actor, he could fucking pull it off. Yeah, boy, it's going to be interesting to watch, man. Like, this isn't a case of when they reshot Solo. I don't know what they'd spent up until that point, but that was a case of nobody had, you know, fucking seen the movie, nobody in the cast was in trouble or anything like that. Somebody just made it. There was a tastemaker choice. I guess Kathy Kennedy was like, I don't like this version. Let's make a whole ass other version and shit. This is not that situation. This is a situation where it's like there's a problem right at the center of your movie, right in the lead of your movie. And when you go to sell this, is the problem going to be ameliorated, or is the problem going to be even worse than it is now?
Yeah. I mean, the narrative for Warner Brothers should be, we realized that we made a movie with a very talented actor who had lots of issues. We replaced that actor at great expense, and we realized that we could not go forward in good faith and good conscience in presenting this character to families, given the baggage that this person brings to it. So we did what we feel is a responsible thing for both our filmmakers and our bottom line, if you got to say that, corporately, politically, socially, environmentally. It was a hard decision to make, but we made it. And then that's the story. The studio stared at the face of what seemed to be an unsolvable problem, and they solved it.
There you go. Warner Bros. Should give you a couple bucks. It's a
You're
great
welcome.
idea. You just gave it away for free, like that fucking Cinderella idea. Man.
Which I don't even remember.
I know, but it was good. I remember that much. There's a fix right there.
Yeah,
There
it'll
you
cost
go,
you
Warner
money.
Brothers.
It's
Let's see what
always going to
happens.
cost you money. Whatever version you do is going to cost you some money.
Yeah. What else we got?
You know how Disney continues to make live-action movies of their animated?
Yeah, they won't
Classics.
stop, man. They keep making money. Everybody's just like, oh my God, I want to see what it looks like live action. Oh, it sucked. Oh, they're doing another one. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Oh, it sucked. So, you know, it's somebody's buying these tickets, so they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, they're doing another one.
Which one?
Hercules.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Like, I ain't against it, but like, what a weird pull. Really? They're going to do it as the musical version?
That seems to be their
They could literally have
modus
Danny
operandi.
DeVito play the same part.
I mean, I'm sure he's warming up.
Yeah, you could still do it. Who's directing?
Guy Ritchie. Wow. I did not expect that response from a crowd.
Well, it's because when you say Guy Ritchie, people are like, fucking Snatch! Not like Hercules.
Except he also directed the live-action Aladdin, which made $1 billion.
Right. So he's that guy now.
Apparently is this guy.
God bless him, man. I'm sure he's just like, fuck you, Silent Bill. You know how much money I make? Like, hell yeah, I'm making fucking Hercules and shit. And then maybe I'll make another Snatch just to shut you the fuck up. God bless him, man. Yeah. It feels, I get it. Like, there might be some kind of like, oh, let's see if we can pull it off or whatever. I get it. There's a huge check attached. So why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, it is a money grab.
Hercules is a weird choice to me, though, with the entire Disney catalog. Like, what have they done so far? They did The Lion King,
Jungle Book,
Aladdin, Jungle Book,
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, which was very successful. They're doing Mulan. They're just doing Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid is still in the hops.
Lady and the Tramp is like a Disney Plus movie. What? They did fucking Dumbo. All right, so what's left that they haven't done? You could still do Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but that'd be weird. Are they doing it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Rachel
They
did
announced that. So what do they have? Are they like fuck? Maybe they're like, look, all we got left is fucking Hercules.
Well, they got Pocahontas. They got Atlantis. They got Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, I would fucking, if Guy Ritchie's like, I'm making a live action Lilo and Stitch, you got every fucking penny I got, man. What are the legacy titles? I guess they've done them all. No, Peter Pan.
Bambi.
Bambi.
It's fucking dark.
Yeah, Bambi. One thing they should learn from that Lion King movie, though, if they make Bambi, is they got to give them cartoon eyes. Don't make them look like real deers. Real deers are just fucking, they just look at you like,
And yeah,
they got one fucking expression. They're never like, oh, mom. They're just like,
and they're assholes.
like you caught them jerking off. Just this all the time. Are they assholes? You don't like deer?
I think deers are assholes.
Why? They're so sweet.
Are they sweet though?
Yeah, they're fucking.
Are you sure?
I think they're gentle.
Because I think they're assholes. I think most animals are assholes. We just impart some level of anthropomorphism, like, oh, he's so cute. Like, no, dolphins are dicks, apparently. Dolphins are the worst.
I think there are bad apples everywhere, but I think generally dolphins are, they help us against sharks. I've read in books, storybooks.
In Free Willy, I saw that dolphins might not be so bad.
Yeah, they fucking talk in high pitches. They're cute, man.
All right.
Don't be shitting on dolphins, man. Nobody wants that.
Nobody came here for dolphin hate.
No way. What was the first animal you didn't like? Oh, deer.
Deer, I think are assholes too.
Deer are so pretty and shit, but I do feel like the New Jersey state flag should have a dead deer on it. Because, my God, when I was just back in Jersey, fucking there are dead deer everywhere. It's like, somebody pick this up. It's depressing. Could you imagine if you're a deer and you're looking out and you see a bunch of dead deer on the road? It must be like, what the fuck, man?
No deer's land.
Pick that shit up. No deer's land, indeed. I'm always told by people, though, that their brains are small. They don't think about that shit. Bullshit, man. I guarantee you, if a live deer sees a dead deer on the side of the road, it's not just like, it's like, holy shit. Oh, the humanity or the deer-manity or whatever the fuck. Like, life is precious and short. We've got to live every day to the fullest.
Phil, is that you?
Bam.
Cousin Phil.
You know what animals do when they see a dead, comrade go crazy? Are crows. So we live in in the foothills of the mountains,
right?
And there are tens of thousands of crows in the neighborhood, and
a murder of crows, if you will.
Yes, a murder of crows.
We never get to use that expression.
I know,
so
a parliament
awesome.
of rooks, perhaps.
I know,
and they're everywhere, and they eat our citrus. They're menaces, and we went to the shop, and they were like, if you get a stuffed crow and you put it in your backyard on its side, the crows will go absolutely bonkers and then leave for 2 weeks until they get comfortable enough to come back. So we bought it, we took it home, and it was like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. It was so fucking loud and crazy. Hundreds of crows screaming, and then they all flew away.
they fucked off.
Yeah.
They were all insulted. They're like, you think this is what a fucking crow looks like? Piece of fucking shit. Let's get out of here. There's citrus elsewhere. Really, man. Fucking,
crows,
see, I wouldn't
yeah.
chase them away. I'd be buying crow food. What do they eat? What do they like? Garbage? Oh, shit. Then I got lots of crow food,
yeah.
man. I just open up the cans and shit.
Dead
like
animals.
man flesh.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'd still take my chances. They're a pretty badass looking bird, man. It's a wise bunch of birds. The birds outside of my house, I got a lot of fucking turtle doves, like in the song, as in 2, but we got fucking 100. And I get them seed and shit. I feed the birds all the time. I started feeding the squirrels, but then the birds just started coming along, and I was like, fuck off, this is for the squirrels. And I realized you can't do that and shit. Then I started getting enjoyment out of the birds, more so than the squirrels. And I was like, fuck off to the squirrels, because the birds were like communal. Squirrels come at it like you'll put out a gazillion peanuts, man. One squirrel's there, another squirrel shows up, he just leaves it all to fight that fucking squirrel. And it's like, look at all these fucking nuts. What are you, What are you, nuts? But the birds, you got multiple piles, they all come. It's like family. And they're all hanging out and they're chirping at each other, eating together. They don't chase each other. It's nice. This is Kev's nature show.
This episode of Mutual of Omaha is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Yes.
Well, this is an excellent segue into our next news item.
Good.
Which is about who exactly is Kraven the Hunter in the new Kraven the Hunter movie.
Oh, I heard this, man. Let me tell you who I believe Kraven the Hunter to be.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter in the comics was a hunter.
Yeah.
So much so that he wanted to hunt the greatest game there is, the most dangerous game. Man, not just man, Spider-Man.
Indeed.
So he killed animals. Kraven wears a shirt or whatever the fuck, an outfit that's a lion's mane, a face of a lion split down his fucking bare fucking chest with his 8-pack and cum gutters and shit like that. So he is, it's right in the name, Mark. I don't even know why you're asking. Kraven, the Hunter. And we've always assumed, rightly, because every comic book story has been about this, that he hunts animals.
Yes. That's his whole jam.
There it is.
He's the second best wearer of a lion's head on their outfit. First best,
Coming to
King
America.
Joffrey
King
Jaffa.
Joffrey, yes.
But in an interview with Variety, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's playing Kraven the Hunter, describes the villain as one of Marvel's most iconic, notorious anti-heroes.
Never been true. Never
Nope.
been an anti-hero. Always been a villain.
Yes, Spider-Man's number
If
one
by
rival.
anti-hero he means villain, he's absolutely right.
Yes. Spider-Man's number one rival, and noted how he found...
Wait.
Yeah?
The boy said what?
Spider-Man's number one rival.
All right, kid, back the fuck up. Like, come on. There's a reason Kraven has not been in the movies ever.
Yeah, ever.
And Green Goblin's been in like almost every one of them. Green
Yes.
Goblin is Spider-Man's Joker. Everybody knows that.
Fair enough.
Everybody. My mother fucking knows that. For this kid to be throwing around Kraven as Spider-Man's number one villain fucking insults me, Mark.
Then just you wait.
Oh shit, there's more?
He said that the character is not an alien or a wizard. He's just a hunter, a human with conviction. However...
A human with conviction, yeah. He's like, I love to kill animals.
Right. Johnson then confirmed how Kraven is an animal lover
What?
and a protector of the natural world.
What? What is he, Swamp Thing? Oh no, is this the direction they're taking the character? Yes, of course it is, because how do you build a franchise on a piece of shit who wants to shoot elephants? It's like building a fucking movie franchise on Donald Trump Jr. So the notion of fucking like, that's not political, that's just me going, I don't like people who kill animals.
He has done so. We've seen the pictures.
We've seen the pictures online. So, clearly an unpopular fucking choice to be like, hey, you know the guy that hates animals? He's our leading man and shit. That puts you into like Flash problematic
Yeah.
country in terms of marketing. So I guess what they're doing is turning him into an anti-hero like Venom or something like that. And so maybe Kraven the Hunter, if he's a friend to all animals like Brainy Smurf, as they're fucking saying right now, maybe their version of Kraven the Hunter is a hunter who hunts the hunters.
He's a poacher.
He's a guy who kills the poachers and shit, which, wonderful, but not Kraven the Hunter.
No. Also,
At all. Literally the opposite of Kraven the Hunter. The only thing it shares in common is a name that could work both ways.
Well,
like Kelly.
it'll be Morbin time with Kraven on January 13th, 2023. So we can see how they once again take a bad guy and make him a good guy because they ran out of Spider-Man shit to make a movie of.
Well, I hope they don't morb it. But it sounds like that's a kooky decision right there. I mean, I get it. It's a smart business decision, but then don't do Kraven.
Right.
Do anyone else.
If you have to do Kraven, sure. Nobody's saying you have to do Kraven.
Yeah, Kraven should be a bad guy. At least start him as a fucking bad guy. I mean, but to fundamentally change everything about him, it's like, so why does he wear that lion thing?
He doesn't. Every picture just has him with a nice linen white shirt.
But that's not from the movie.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's him.
I mean,
as
I don't know if
Kraven?
he's wearing it in every scene.
King Joffrey. That's a butt screen.
Where is my son?
You're right. He wore it so much better. Who wore it better? He totally did.
Killed it.
All right. Well, look. When it comes on TV, I'll fucking see it.
HBO Max. I'm sure it'll
or
be there.
something like that. If that's just to me is like, why would you do that? I get why you do it, but then there must be a Marvel character that fucking likes animals and shit like that. Yeah, look at it calling you.
Hello.
What's next?
The next story is our last story, and it is a somewhat sad story,
Oh shit.
which we end up doing with frightening regularity these days. But the great DC and Marvel Comics artist Tim Sale passed away.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, did you not know this?
I did not.
Yes.
Tim Sale is like, in my mind, Tim Sale is really young.
He was 66 years old.
Tim Sale was 66 years old? Fuck, he looked young, man.
Yeah.
I did not know this. Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
I have so much Tim Sale art. I am a massive fucking Tim Sale. Look at him. Look how young he looks. I mean, that might be an old picture, but look how young he looks. Fuck, I didn't know this at all. Oh my God. God, I loved him, and I loved the way that he drew Batman. Fuck, I was going to reach out to him to do a cover for fucking Secret Stash Press.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the reason I'm sad he's gone. I'm sad that such a major talent is gone. But if I'd reached out sooner, I might have hit him before fucking he left. Fuck.
Yeah. The cause of death is yet to be revealed, but he did check into the hospital. I want to say it was last Monday, and he did not last very long.
66.
66. And
And
if you're not
he's in
familiar
shape.
with Tim Sale's work, Tim Sale is one of the great Batman artists
If
of all
you're
time.
not familiar with Tim Sale's work, chances are you are familiar with Tim Sale's work. You just didn't know his fucking name. But you're absolutely right. One of the premier Batman artists of all time. He worked very closely with Jeff Loeb on a series of fucking books that have been insanely influential right up until the most recent The Batman movie as well.
Yes. The Long Halloween, Dark Victory. They did a Catman book called When in Rome. They
Halloween special.
Halloween special. They started their partnership on Challenges of the Unknown.
Oh my God, you just took me back. One of my favorite comic book series, absolutely, of all time. A series that I went into going like, I'm just buying issue number 1 because it's a number 1. I don't give a fuck about this book. And the storytelling and the art was so fucking magnetic that I stayed in, and it became one of my absolute fucking favorites. So much so that I'm like, whatever these cats do, I'm following. And they did go on to not only the Batman stuff, but of course they did a whole run of Marvel stuff as well. Didn't they do Hulk?
They did Captain America White. They did Spider-Man Blue, Hulk
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Daredevil Yellow.
Yes.
And they also did the amazing Superman for All Seasons.
Yes. Oh my
which
God.
is where I sort of dove into Tim Sale for the first time.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Fucking, he was so talented and such a nice man. He's a big part of my childhood in the entertainment business because I gravitated toward people whose work I fucking loved and shit. And so at Comic-Cons, like, these were the people that I wanted to meet. And he was such a good fucking guy. God damn it, he was so fucking talented too. I love all of his artwork. This is a huge fucking loss. Normally I go into these shows knowing, like, not everything, but I didn't know this. Holy fuck. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry to have to be the person to break that news to you.
Yeah, and again, I don't want it to seem like we were best friends, but he was such a nice dude. For somebody with that much talent, he didn't have to be that nice. Really fucking talented geniuses can get away with treating you like an asshole, and you'll be like, oh my God, they're so talented and shit. This guy was such a nice guy, and fuck could he draw. I love the way he drew.
Yeah. I mean, I never got to meet him. I got to email with him a couple of times back for a project that never happened, where we were hoping he would do covers, and he was so fucking sweet about it. And just seemed to be the kind of person who loved to draw.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing this creator-owned book, and we just think you'd be great. And it's like, yeah, fuck it. If I'm free, I'm happy to do it. And the book never happened, and he went off to be Tim Sale and doing Tim Sale shit, and never heard from him again. But just there was the level of grace and joy with which he seemed to attack everything. That again, we're losing too many guys like this, and we're losing them too fast.
And that one is like 66, man. Like, that's like a year younger than my dad. And I always thought my dad, he died at 67. I thought that was pretty fucking young. 66. And he was in good shape. My dad was in terrible shape. Tim Sale, like, physically seemed fit to me from a distance. Jesus. Fuck. That blows.
Yeah.
We'll never see his like again. But you know what? Rather than fucking curse the darkness, let's light a candle. We are lucky that we got the amount of work we got out of him before he fucking left, man. Raise it up for the great Tim Sale. Oh, fuck.
That's the news, my friend.
Yeah. Bummer.
Sorry.
We should have led with that. Then we could have fucking closed with something else.
Well, we can close with fucking Q&A, man.
That's true. Maybe Q&A will lift our spirits and shit. All right. We did the news, man. Give it up for Mark. He did the fucking news, everybody. The news was done. All right, what do we got? JC, Banff man.
All right. We got some questions. The first is from...
Hold on, before we do that, we got... how do we do that one?
I don't know. We have
Fourth question, or do we just do it as a special?
maybe a fourth question.
I do have 4 questions.
Oh, done
I
and
have
done.
a backup. So
we'll save that for the end.
Yeah.
That's the last one. And then we'll say what it is at the end.
Okay. So nobody feels shitty about it.
Exactly. So everyone's like, oh, I want that one and shit. All right, folks. Those who ask a question, and if the question is good, and generally it always is, they're going to walk away with this sweet-ass prize, a copy of Adora and the Distance, written by an amazing fucking writer who's up for a fucking award, an Eisner in a couple weeks. Mr. Marc Bernardin, say your artist's name.
Ariella Cristantina.
That's how I would
It's
have
just
said
fun
it,
to
but
say.
slower. It is very fun to say. You're going to get a copy of that book signed by the guy himself, and you're also going to get 2 Screen X tickets to go see whatever you want, but guess what? Go see Elvis. It's coming out and shit like that. They just had their highest grossing picture ever on Screen X, and it was Top Gun. They also did a 40X Top Gun, but the Screen X Top Gun, it does all 3 sides, so you feel like you're in the cockpit. Screen X tickets are going to be yours if your question is picked, and it's really good. So, JC, take over.
all right. First question, Yusuf Nash.
Yusuf, come on up. Everyone give it up for Yusuf.
Yusuf!
All right, Yusuf. Oh, look at him wearing a shirt, a
I
very
know.
familiar shirt.
He's a very sartorially swift kind of guy.
Yeah, I
right, for
forgot to dress up for this event, you know.
You wore the right fucking, you made the right choice, my friend.
Oh, thank you. So, I grew up Muslim, my family's from Iraq, and, like, watching Ms. Marvel and seeing her house, like, it really looked like the house I grew up in,
Is it very, like,
very close. Like,
as a guy outside the culture, I'm like, is this pandering or is this a perfect portrait of the
I
world?
tell you, there's this like this like diamond shaped portrait with like Quranic writing, and like I'm pretty sure my family has that same exact one.
Really?
Yeah, it looks eerily the same, and I just like started tearing up because like I can't believe something this big showing like Islam in such a positive way, especially in this country. And like every guy that kind of looked like me just wants to kill the country because like, which is weird because I was in the Air Force, so it's like I don't hate the country. Like I
Fucking
served.
A, man. That's beautiful. I bet you that's what they were hoping for when they made the fucking show.
Yeah.
Like the idea that somebody could see the show and be like, hey, I'm up there, man.
Yeah, it really. I had a hard time being objective watching it because I'm just like, God, everything I'm seeing is just like I love.
Right.
And so my question for you guys is like, for me, seeing that is just like I just started crying because I saw this one little thing in the background. Did you guys ever had like a moment where you were just like, oh man, I saw something in the background and I just like you just like teared up, or you just like, holy shit, like everything about the movie, no matter how bad it was or how good it was, doesn't matter. Like because of this one thing or this one thing in the background you saw, it just like made the whole thing for you.
Fucking A. Yeah, because best chances of that happening are probably in a movie or TV show because you have a chance to feel seen, right? Because you're deep in the fucking story. You're in their story. And you've made this contract with the storytellers where you're like, I'm in your world, it's your world, you're telling the story, take me there. If they reach out to your world, like when I was a kid, if they mentioned New Jersey, still today as an adult, if they, I'm watching Ms. Marvel and shit, they're like Jersey City, I'm like, they know we exist. It was fucking thrilling to be acknowledged as a fucking state. Never mind like if they had ever been like, and this is the Jersey Shore, which they did in a movie called Don't Go Into the House. It was a horror movie that was shot in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, and shot outside of this creepy old house that still exists, and shot outside the Atlantic Highlands movie theater where I went to the movies all the time. So anytime I watch that movie, I'm like, holy fuck, I've been there. I know where that fucking payphone is. So there have definitely been moments like that. There have been movies that have moments that made me feel seen. I know it's like dated and controversial for a lot of folks, but The Bad News Bears is always a movie that will always make me feel like, oh shit, they knew my childhood. It wasn't the random ass general entertainment childhood of fucking, most TV shows and movies. Fuck up kids were my childhood. And seeing those fuck up kids being bad at Little League, that was my childhood. So I always felt seen when I fucking watched something like that. I know that feeling, man. So it's a thrilling feeling. Do you know?
I have two examples. I have one that still thrills me to this day, and then I have one that I always feel the more I engage with it, the more I feel like it's not living up to its potential to do exactly what you're talking about. In Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when Biggie comes on, like it's just that fucking song. It's just hypnotized, and like suddenly I'm that kid in that age listening to that music for the first time in New York, and just thrilled to be like alive and fucking like with my friends and like doing like there's just this spirit that comes out of that moment in that movie where he just shouts Brooklyn from the fucking rooftops because he's so much in love with this particular moment in time. And there's a lot into the Spider-Verse that I mean, I'm not Afro-Latino, but I'm half of that. But I'm a New Yorker, and so there's parts of that movie that absolutely do speak to me about growing up in New York. The one that I keep hoping for more from is Stranger Things, because it takes place in the 80s. I am the same age that those kids would have been at that time.
Is that right?
1986.
What year were you born?
71. So I'd have been 15. I would have been in my sophomore, junior year of high school. I was Lucas on that show. I was that black kid. I was the black kid who played D&D and who read comics, who hung out with a mostly white clique of friends because my black friends, who I still hung out with, but they didn't swing with that shit the way I did. But the access to both white spaces and black spaces and the way that you have to find a way to exist in both seems like a story they are primed to be able to tell with that character. Now I get it. That show's about 11 and it's about Will and it's about fucking Hopper and getting him out of Russia and all of that stuff. I get what the show's about. But that character of Lucas is who I was, and I don't see myself in him. You know, and I don't see the particular, and you don't have to make a show about it, but there's ways to make that guy just feel real that the show doesn't quite go the length to do. And I'm not sure who's in the writer's room. I'm not sure who is helping to tell that story, but to get that like so close to it, like you have almost all the pieces except it seems as if you're not that interested in this guy, then that's a bit heartbreaking to me. And so that's the one that I keep hoping for more from and don't get, and Spider-Verse remains the gift that keeps on giving.
Have you ever seen a movie called Brigsby Bear? A lot of people have not. That was I got a surprising backdoor gift from that movie, which sounds exactly as sexy as I meant it. Because on the surface, it's a movie about like, hey, this kid was raised in a fucking in a world where he thought everyone was dead, and now he's got to reintegrate into society. That was the movie I was expecting. In that movie, part of the story is the parents who had kidnapped him as a child and raised him made a program for him called Brigsby Bear that was like directed at him. Guy made like fucking hundreds of episodes of the show, and there's no end to the show. So when this kid got free or whatever the fuck, his biggest concern was like, where's the latest Brigsby Bear? Because that's what he did his whole fucking life. So eventually he decides to make the final episode of Brigsby Bear. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry talking about it. So there's a moment of pure fucking creative exuberance, which I was not expecting and absolutely fucking adore, when they're all out making the fucking movie. As I'm watching the movie, I didn't like connect with it on that level of, oh shit, they're doing what I do. I was kind of in their story. I was in their world. And then they did something that they fucking acknowledged me. And he's so overjoyed. It's Kyle Mooney, who's amazing in the movie and should have been nominated for awards. He's so overjoyed with like him and his new friends making this thing that he just starts talking at the camera and he starts saying exactly what they're doing. And I don't know the words exactly, but he's just like it's easy to make a TV show. All you have to do is get your friends and you just come out and you just have a good time. And it's so simple and childlike, like the character. But I wept when it happened because I was like, yes, motherfucker. Like, that's exactly what it is. That's how I feel, and then I started going like, wait, am I an idiot like this guy in the movie and shit? But then I'm like, yes, because I'm a happy idiot because I make my shit. I felt very seen by that fucking moment. It will endear that movie to me for the rest of my fucking life. Excellent question. Give it up for Yusef, man.
Thank you.
I have two answers to that question. I have a good one and a bad one.
Okay.
The bad one was, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, I watched 8-Bit Christmas with Doogie Howser. And I was like, oh, this is him as a little kid is me. He's like too poor and can't afford a Nintendo, and all he wants is a Nintendo, and his parents figure out how to get him a Nintendo, and it's all looks like my neighborhood. And I watched a whole movie waiting to be like wowed, and I was like, I kind of hate that movie.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it at all. Wow. So it got me, but it didn't get me. Kind of like
Mark.
It was like Mark's Stranger Thing.
Got you.
And then the other one was in 1999. I went to film school. It was my freshman year of college, my first semester, and I went to the movie theater and I saw a movie called Dogma, where Jay and Silent Bob were talking about going to Shermer, Illinois, and I had just moved. My hometown is Shermer, Illinois, so I had just moved from Shermer, Illinois to go to film school, and somebody's making a movie about their heroes are trying to get to Shermer, Illinois, and I was like, oh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Fucking seen.
Yeah.
That guy's a genius. I hope to work with him one day.
It's a long con.
Shit works out. That's amazing. I'm happy to be part of your fucking memory. All right. What's the next question we got?
Frank and Julia.
Frank and Julia, get up. Are you both coming up together as a team?
Are those two people, or is it like Frankenfurter?
Together as a team? Here they come. Give it up for Frank and Julia together.
I suppose it could have been Frank T. Julia, but there we go.
Qui-Gon slipping by with some drinks. What's up, kids?
I wasn't expecting this, but
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
yeah. Before I start, I just want to say I wasn't a big comic book fan until I started watching you guys and seeing some of the passion. Obviously, the movie. There we go. Gotcha. I appreciate it. So thanks for getting me in on that.
For those, if you missed it, he was saying that he wasn't a big comic book person until he started watching this fucking show.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done our jobs. Now we can retire.
Indeed.
We said when we started this, we just need to convert one person.
Frank and or Julie.
Fucking, we did it.
Now we can walk off into the cornfields.
Okay. So my husband was telling me he listens to you guys all the time, and so he was telling me about the question and answer. And he's like, people ask questions like this, and I was cracking up. I was like, do they really ask that question? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, then that's what we're gonna ask.
Oh, okay, right on.
If you had to remake and recast 3 Men and a Baby, which Avengers would you put, and why?
Excellent fucking question.
Wow.
Excellent question. He's absolutely right. That is the kind of question we answer.
It's the specificity of it that I appreciate.
All right, let's walk it through again because some of us are stoned. If we're remaking 3 Men and a Baby,
Yes.
and
Yes.
for the record, no need to remake it. Leonard Nimoy did
Yes,
an amazing job.
absolutely.
Give it up for
Agreed,
Spock, everybody.
agreed.
Spock, the director. But if we're remaking it, and we have to do it with Avengers only,
Do we
who
have
and why?
supporting characters within the Avengers or just Avengers?
Anyway, we want
Anybody
we
that's
need
been
to
in
keep
an
this open and
Avengers
creative.
movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Tom Selleck is a mustache actor. We need Stan Lee in that role.
Oh,
Stan Lee, he's in an Avengers movie. He counts.
Yes.
he does.
Yes.
If we can't get him, let's think of another guy.
Okay. Do you want to do your 3 in a row, or do you want me to go now?
You go ahead.
I want Michael Pena from Ant-Man.
Excellent pull.
He needs to be the.
He's one of the dads.
One of the dads, the bedtime storyteller.
Now my turn.
Now it's your turn.
Let's see. Oh, I know a lot of people shit on him, but like fucking Hawkeye with that recent miniseries proved to be very fatherly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's let Renner go in there.
Okay.
App or no app, I'm taking Jeremy Renner.
I'm going to go with M'Baku.
Hawkeye, meaning Hawkeye. Ooh.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I feel like Winston
Cuts
Duke.
pull.
Yes. Because he seems to be like he's a dude who likes to have people sit on his giant, massive thighs and bounce them. He's
Wait, we're still talking about being a dad, right?
Yeah. No, but you're bouncing a tot. Like, that's what you're
Fair
doing. He's a vegetarian, so the kid will grow up healthy.
True.
And he doesn't take any mess from anyone.
That's true. I go Tony Stark. He seemed like a pretty amazing dad. His kid loved him fucking 3,000. So I would say...
He told him to love her. He told her to love him 3,000.
Did he? He was like...
How much do you love me? I love you. Well, yeah, he
She
exhorts.
came up with it.
Yeah, but he exhorts the love out of his kid.
Well, he's like, I love you. I love you times 100.
I love you more.
Yeah, I love you 3,000. She upped his game.
She did.
He didn't want that, though. He seemed surprised by it.
Yeah, too much
He
love.
didn't walk out of that scene going like, that's what I fucking thought. He was so touched by it. That's why, you know what? Fucking put Robert Downey Jr. in every movie. He's so fucking charming and wonderful. But particularly, I thought he was a wonderful and charming dad in Endgame. So yeah, there's my guy.
That's your third one?
Yeah, I don't know if Stan counts, though. I mean, look, Stan counts, let's be honest. But I don't know if we can make a current movie without a lot of CGI. It'd be an expensive movie. So I got
So you want a mulligan on Stan?
Yeah. Do you have one more to go?
I got one more to go.
Go.
Groot.
Oh. That's a fucking great call, man.
Because nobody will care for that kid the way Groot cares for that kid.
That's true. Excellent fucking call. All right, let me... fucking... What, are we kidding? America's dad. America's ass, but America's dad. Captain America. Fucking who'll be more wholesome to raise a kid and shit? He could teach him to box. Something my father never did for me. Still think about that.
You were a boxer, and you never taught me to fucking box.
He was like, you're too soft to box. And he was right.
All right, well, I think we did it.
I think we did it. Oh my God, great questions. You guys win the fucking books. Tickets and a book. Well done, kids. Well done. Yeah, totally.
I think it's a crime that Scott Lang isn't on there after getting that hideous bunny as a birthday present for his daughter, and the only thing he cares about when he gets through the shrinking down is getting back to his daughter, and he learned close-up magic for his daughter. And
You're absolutely fucking right. And I don't know what it says about me or the movie that, like, that's not the first thing that popped in my head. Like, if you said Ant-Man to me, I'd be like, oh, it's about him being a dad. But you're right. It's all about him being a dad. But for some reason, that movie to me is about him shrinking.
I actually, the thing that got me is I was like, Paul Rudd reminds me of a much better Steve Gutenberg. And then I was like, and he's a good dad.
That's some shade thrown at the wood, man. Yeah,
Gutenberg is just like pulling that shit out of his ears. Like, what the fuck happened?
The Goot is like, you know how many police academies I did? That's not easy. And Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Johnny Five is alive.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Bobby Rodila?
Bobby! Give it up for Bobby! We saw you on the way to the bathroom, which sounds real fucking sus, but like that's where we hang out right before the show begins. We like to see who's shitting. No, it's where the hallway is and stuff.
I got the over-under.
That's right. How are you, Bob?
I'm good. I'm here with my dad, Rick.
Holy shit! Hey, we saw him too in the hallway.
I
Rick's
remember.
birthday was yesterday, wasn't it? How old are you? 54. Fucking turned 54 years young. Give it up for Rick, man.
I think we might have to sing.
We can sing. You want us to sing? You want a song? Fuck yeah, the song's free. Everybody kick it in. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you, Rick. Happy birthday to you, Rick. Victim Rick. Happy birthday, dear Rick. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. 54. Well done.
Put him on the glass.
Back to you, Bobby.
Put him on the
Well
glass.
done.
So,
Holy fuck. What a great thing to do for your dad.
Like I was telling you when we met earlier,
Yeah.
my parents met in a movie theater. they were around your age when Clerks came out.
Yeah.
When they were still working in a movie theater, and that's when I was born. So growing up in the household, I had all your films in the house, starting from Clerks all the way to Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Dogma, all of it.
My God, you were raised a generation of Kevin Smith.
I was, and it's due to having such young parents who worked in the film industry.
Or parents with such great taste.
Exactly, right? So it's crazy. So I figured for his birthday, Father's Day, and everything, what better way than to come down all the way from San Francisco than to see you two?
They came in from San Francisco for the show. What a great gift,
right?
man. Well done.
He's had a good week. Father's Day, we had the day off yesterday and everything, so I took him to the baseball game, took him to lunch, and now we're here.
Excellent.
So my question at all of it
Bring the mic up right in your mouth.
My question at the end of all of it is, if you both were to take your dad on a birthday trip, what would you do?
Wow. Wow.
Take Dad on a birthday trip.
How's your relationship with your dad?
We're both men, so fraught. I think every man will tell you that they have some unresolved issue with their father.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, and I'm no different. I don't know. It's funny. My dad is from Haiti, and hasn't been back in what's got to be at this point now 30 years. Not because he doesn't want to go, but because it's actually unsafe for him to be there. It's a pretty dangerous place down there. So
for him in particular, or just in general?
In general, for expats to return.
I was like, what kind of fucking story is that? Where you're like, my dad fled Haiti.
He can't fucking go back.
Yeah, I'm like, that's tell that story.
Yeah. So it would be nice to be able to take him back, and to be in the position to be able to make that happen would be lovely. It doesn't seem like the wisest choice for our safety. But I think he told me this story when he was out here most recently for my son's graduation, that when he left Haiti, he went to London to learn how to speak English and was washing dishes and shit like that and just whatever it took to make ends meet so then he could leave London and come to the United States. And for whatever reason, London was cheaper than New York. So I don't know why the fuck that was stop number one. But I feel like returning back to London with him and getting those first memories of what it was like to be young and leaving with ambition and that the feeling of promise, that you have when you're 19, 20 years old and you think the world can be yours and you can bend it to your will if you can just be good enough and smart enough and speak right and all of that stuff. And so to be able to go back and walk those same streets with him and see where he first cut his teeth, as a man in the world, would I think be kind of special, at least for me. I don't know if he wants to go, but I'd fucking go.
My dad passed away some time ago, 19 years ago at the beginning of this month. Next year will be 20 years that he's gone. So spending any time, of course, with Dad would be amazing. How long do I have? A week?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Say a week.
More than one day? I'm getting greedy.
Well, he's had a 3-day birthday extravaganza.
I'll take 3 days. Number one, we're going to podcast. Something I never did while he was alive. That came after he was gone. And it would have been amazing to dive deep. You want to talk about Darth Vader looking out the window and you're like, what's that fucker thinking? That was my father, except he didn't kill a bunch of kids and shit like that. You never knew what he was thinking. He was inscrutable. And when you asked him, he got defensive. Like, why? Why do you want to know and stuff? He just didn't come from a very open generation. So I would sit him down and be like, bro, you're talking. And I'd make Mom be with him so she'd fucking do half the talking as she did mostly in his life as well. So it would be like old home week. So definitely I'm recording a podcast with him at my house. I'm going to the movies with him, oddly enough. You'd imagine you get him back, all you want to do is talk to him. We talk to each other with movies. He took me to the movies and he communicated with them. And that's how I learned about life in general, not just movies and themselves and stuff. And he wasn't trying to film school educate me. He just look, the fat one likes movies, we'll go see movies and shit. But sitting next to your father, I've said this many times, sitting next to your father in the dark, watching movies, you will learn a lot about who your father absolutely is. Yes. It's, you see what makes him laugh. You see what makes him think. You see what makes him fucking feel, what makes him cry. I'll never forget watching my father cry in The World According to Garp and being like,
you're allowed to do that? Like, fucking, it's okay? Because I feel emotional. I don't know what it is, but, like, I guess I'm feeling something too, but I didn't know you were permission was granted to just, fucking enjoy what was happening as emotionally as one could. Like, just imbibe, just buy into the whole fucking thing. And if it makes you laugh, of course, but if it makes you feel, it makes you cry, fucking go for it. You learn a lot sitting next to your old man in the movies. So I would take him to a bunch of movies. I would show him mine, a bunch, all the ones he missed and shit. Maybe not all the ones he missed. You know what? He'd watch them all. Fuck him. And the one he'd love Red State. Holy shit! He'd be like, "Now this is what you should have been doing from the beginning." I'd get a lecture and shit like that. But since he'd been dead for like 19 years, I would take that lecture. Where else would I take him? I'd take him to eat, because the old man loved to fucking eat and shit. I wouldn't take him for steak and cheesesteak at Morton's. That was what he had the night he died. So I'd go for some lighter fare. He did die of a heart attack. But we would go eat for sure. Maybe I'd make him some hummus. I doubt he would like it. But I know the one thing, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell a permutation of it. I know for damn Skippy what I'd do. When I was a kid, I'm talking about maybe 11 or 12, 10, 11, 12 in that corridor. Let's just say 11 years old to be sure. Yeah. Everyone was riding fucking dirt bikes, Huffies and shit like that. Bikes had been bikes at one point, but then Huffy introduced a bike that looked fucking cool. It was the bike that wore sweatbands. Like, it was just a cool-ass bike and had a middle fucking bar in case you went over it. You put a padded thing on it. Then there was a fucking bar here and shit, which if you hit your nuts on, it hurt, but somehow that was cool or whatever the fuck. Like, they introduced the bike that, like, if you have this bike, your life will be complete. And naturally, I would have loved to have had one of those bikes as opposed to the shitty old bike that I had, which had been passed down and was probably given to the family and shit like that. So, my father, for my fucking birthday, was like, he wants one of those bikes, so we're going to get him one of those bikes. And I was so excited because I was like, oh, yeah, but we were poor. My mom hates when I say that, so I will say we were a lower middle class family, and 3 kids. They're not all getting fucking what they want when they want it, and a new bike is expensive, particularly when you have a bike that works just fine. Like, this bike just looks cool, big deal. Like, clothes look cool, and you don't wear those clothes, so you'll be fine with this bike and shit. So, when my mom was like, your dad's getting you that bike, I was like, holy shit. And my dad spent a week in the garage, and I didn't know what he was doing. They kept the garage door closed. It was a big fucking secret and shit. And his free time was precious because he worked late at nights and stuff, worked the night shift at the post office. So, him devoting any time to any project was a fucking big thing. And after a week on my birthday, I was presented. They brought me outside, my mom and dad, and it was like, okay, here it comes. And they opened the garage door, and what I saw was the saddest fucking piece of shit bike I've ever seen in my life. It was my bike, but with some fucking gussied up shit. Like, there was no middle bar between my handlebars, but he made one by taking like this thin pipe and like chicken wiring it between the handlebars. So it just moved and shit. It wasn't supportive or anything. You couldn't put a cool pad on the middle bar because the middle bar was this gigantic fucking thing. So he wrapped it in faux fucking leather. He put a fucking racing plate on it with the number 1 on it. He put streamers on the handlebars. It was a game effort, but it was like, bro, this does not look like a fucking Huffy bike. What are you, nuts and shit? But I was raised incredibly well. Very empathetically by my mother. And so naturally, I never let on that I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was just like, oh my God, thank you. This is amazing. Thank you. And proceeded to probably never ride that bike again.
Such a dad move. He took my sister's Barbie bike, spray painted it black, and gave it to me.
Such a great, brilliant move, man.
Dad game is strong.
But I'll tell you right now, if I get a week with my dad or 3 days with my dad, fuck it, I've said it before, like, I will give you all the money I have if I can ride that fucking bike with him just once now. Took a long fucking time. When I was a kid, that was a nightmare. I didn't want to be seen with that fucking bike. Now, I'm smart enough to know how much love that fucking bike was made with. Nobody will ever make a fucking thing for me in this life, except maybe my wife who had a child, but that was an accident. So, a happy one, but, unplanned. No one in this life will ever make a thing specifically for me that was made with as much care, attention, and affection, and as much creativity as that guy could muster with the fucking 2 nickels he had in his pocket. And fucking young me, of course, was like, oh, I couldn't be caught dead on this fucking bike. But me now, I'd take that bike on the 101, bitch. Like, fucking, I would ride that bike right into the fucking earth. I would pay cash money to have it refurbished every few years and shit. So that it was like the fucking ship of Theseus at the end of the day. You'd be like, is it the real bike at the end of the day? Or has he replaced all the pieces and shit like that? I would treat it like the treasure that it was. So yeah, given a fucking moment to go back, given 3 days with Dad, I would do that. Now, my dad would be like, what do you mean you never liked that bike? Because he was oblivious, right? He was like sleeping most of the day and working at night, so he never saw whether I rode the bike or not. So it never broke his fucking heart. But yeah, I would do that. Excellent question. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. You and Dad go to the movies, man. Yeah, we can totally tag that. All right, JC.
All right,
ourselves a special bonus 4th question.
Last question. Brandon Barizo?
Brandon, get up here. Everyone give it up for Brandon.
Hello.
Brandon, before you ask this question, I have one for you. Do you live in Los Angeles?
I do.
Excellent. Then
ask him the second question.
I don't have a second question.
Do you like Harry Potter?
Yes, I sure do.
Excellent. Would you like to go see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows at the Hollywood Bowl on June 30th with a score performed by a live orchestra?
I sure would.
I have 2 tickets for those.
I would like those tickets.
Now, don't
please,
let this question suck.
Yeah, your question has to be amazing.
Well, my question is music related, so...
So it's on brand, all right? So those tickets are getting a little closer to you.
Even better, it's also related to Elvis a little.
Oh, shit. Fucking back off. I got this.
A little. In honor of Elvis coming out this week, I wanted to ask, what are some of your favorite needle drops throughout film history?
Excellent fucking question. Give it up for that question. That deserves the tickets. Needle drops or just music in general?
Let's go music in general.
Music in general?
Oh, you're making it too wide.
Yeah, well, at that point, fucking all of Streets of Fire. Like, Streets of Fire is a movie that I watch all the time and go, like, somebody should remake this movie. And then I'm like, no, don't. It's fucking perfect and shit. Somebody should just make another movie like it. Somebody should make a sequel. Should be us.
Yeah. Boulevards of Flames.
It's like Streets of Fire, but bigger.
Wider.
You got one? I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm trying not to go the easy route, which is anything in Goodfellas or anything in Pulp Fiction.
Fuck yeah.
Because
those guys are the kings of needle drop.
Yeah.
And Casino. I remember seeing Casino, and we were working at Universal at that point, making Mallrats. And so, they were making Casino at that point. And so we had, like, fucking privy to inside details and shit. And at that time, that was, like, hands down the most expensive fucking soundtrack of all time. And he don't even use full songs. You want to talk about needle drop. Sometimes he'll use 10 seconds of a very expensive song and just move the fuck on, man. Oh, you're right, man. The Scorsese stuff and the Quentin Tarantino stuff are brilliant needle drop. But let's leave them off the table because they're so good.
Yeah. So...
I guess we better put them back on the table. It is a great question in as much as we're stumped. Because you think it's an easy one where you're like, oh my God, fucking I can list everything. But I could really, what I'm thinking is I can list all the needle drop moments in my movies because, like, you know, I edited the movie and fucking I'm so dialed into them and stuff like that. But I'm not going to list my shit as examples. That's tacky. However, I will say that in Zack and Miri, there's a brilliant needle drop of the Pixies, Hey, which I still to this day, I'm like, all right, I'm a filmmaker. That proves it right there. Some people would be like, no, you're not. But I happen to think that.
I am really, really excited for the My Chem needle drop in Clerks 3.
It's honestly the My Chem. We use My Chemical Romance's "Welcome to the Black Parade" as the opening of Clerks 3, and it is my finest hour of needle drop. The whole fucking opening of the movie was composed to the song, visually speaking and stuff. And in terms of it being executed on the day, somehow we wound up elevating. So for San Diego, for the Comic-Con this year, by the time we go to Comic-Con, I do my Hall H panel. The trailer will have already been out and stuff for Clerks 3. But at my panel, we're going to show the opening 5 minutes of the movie, which is that entire fucking sequence and stuff. So if you're going to Comic-Con, you got that to look forward to.
All right, I got one.
Oh, I was stalling for you. Go ahead.
Good job. The reason why I like this one is not just that the song is great, which it is. And it's not just that the movie is good, which it is. But it's used in this moment in the movie to conjure a very specific feeling, which is youth and kind of the daffiness of carefree driving late at night with your friends, and that feeling of a song that just comes on the radio that overtakes you body and soul, and you're moved to it.
This may be the best needle drop of all time. Go ahead.
It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which it's the only song for that moment.
And it may be the reason that movie made over $100 million, because when you saw that clip,
yeah,
it's like you said, you're just like, that's me, I've done that.
That's what it's like to be fucking 19 years old, driving in the middle of the town you grew up in, with nothing fucking to do but be in this car with your friends, and then the song comes on and you've never been anyplace better. You're where you're supposed to be. And there's just something about that moment. Like the movie, the rest of it is, at this point, for me, a little give or take. Like, it was hilarious when I was 19, but most things were. And today, looking back on it, it is what it was. It's a relic of a bygone age. But that sequence still fucking bangs, because that song is just perfect.
Excellent fucking pull. Everything I had. Give it up for Mark. That's fantastic. Maybe like one of the greatest needle drop moments in history. Some people will point to Almost Famous when they did Tiny Dancer on the bus. That's lovely and stuff. But in terms of needle drop, what was I just thinking? I had one. It was, God damn it. God, I just had it. Go ahead, JC, fill in. I'll remember.
Probably not the best, but definitely fun was You Could Be Mine in Terminator 2. Just before Schwarzenegger shows up, you realize he's a good guy, and he pulls a gun out of a box of roses.
Yes.
For Guns N' Roses.
See, the one that I love that's great, but the You Could Be Mine drop in Terminator Salvation, for me, is maybe better because it's about John Connor remembering what it was like to be young. And so even now, as a grizzled fucking veteran of the robot uprising, that dude still remembers. Like, I was a teenager on a motorcycle once, and that's the song you played when you have a motorcycle.
This is not deep cut. Well, this is deep cut, so everyone probably won't identify with it. But there's a movie called Valley Girl, which I deeply, deeply love. One of my favorite movies of all time. And they expertly, Martha Coolidge, the director, expertly used I'll melt with you. I'll stop the world and melt with you. They do a montage of Randy and Julie falling in love all over all over Hollywood and the Valley, and it's absolute perfection. It's for me personally as a filmmaker, the model for every montage I've ever tried to do. Like, it's a perfect cinematic montage. Another perfect needle drop. I don't know if it's perfect, but like it works in as much as whenever I hear the song, I instantly go to a fucking dugout where I'm staring up at the ceiling as I get fucked by the fucking stereo guy. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Somebody's Baby, like that fucking song whenever it comes on. I heard my kid singing it once when she was 12. I was like, oh no, and I turned that shit off. Yeah, but nothing is going to be as good as fucking that. You're absolutely right, man. It's weird that more movies don't try to imitate that Bohemian Rhapsody moment. Right now I'm going, why didn't I do that?
I have a good needle drop story.
Okay.
It's like real world. So you mentioned Valley Girl.
Yeah.
There's a band in Valley Girl called the Plimsolls.
I love them, absolutely.
So that needle drop is responsible for my relationship. Jen was...
Which song?
Oldest Story in the World.
The oldest story in the world.
So she was listening to Spotify on her iPod. She lived in Hollywood. We hadn't talked in 5 years. And she was up on the balcony of the Chinese theater watching the Thor 2 premiere walk down the street. And it was raining and it was kind of shitty out. And she's like, I just need a guy who will sit in dirty Hollywood with me and watch silly Hollywood stuff. And 5 years later, she texted me that night while she was listening to that song. She texted me the Spotify link and said, just listen to this song. Isn't that crazy?
That is wild. Did you guys know it was from that movie?
I did. I mean, she does. She loves that movie. I was like,
movie's fucking amazing.
I was like, who the fuck's texting me? What is this?
Oh, it's the rest of my life.
Yeah. Aww. But that text was the beginning of everything that came after.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, like, look, it ain't going to necessarily give you the fucking life that JC's guy is happily married. He's got a kid. He's fucking a bar magnate.
He's not married yet. Let's simmer down.
Well, he's practically fucking married and shit. Common law married at the very least. But Valley Girl is that good a movie where you will get something out of it if you watch it.
You'll get laid 5 years later.
Finally.
That was a great question. That was a great answer. You win the fucking tickets. Give it up for him, man. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy them Deathly Hollows.
And we will have 2 other sets of tickets to give away over the summer. The Back to the Future with a live orchestra is going to be at the Bowl, and then the John Williams Maestro at the Movies in September, I believe. So you have to come back.
If you're here, you got that chance. Fuck, man. It's almost 11 o'clock at night.
We did it.
This show just rolls. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's going to be a quick show tonight. We don't have a lot.
I never say that.
It always just fucking expands and stuff. Did you have a good time tonight, ladies and gentlemen? We only get to do fun shit like this because our friend owns a bar. Give it up for Banff Man himself, JC, proprietor. Scum and Villainy Cantina, waiting for you right here in Hollywood and stuff. But there is no show, ladies and gentlemen, we all know, without the guy sitting to my fucking left. I always have to fucking figure it out. Left.
Well, I'm not like up there.
I know. Normally I'm doing this shit. The guy to my left, man. Give it up for marvelous Marc Bernardin, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
And that is Fat Man Beyond for this week, man. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time, which, by the way, I think we're going to be doing this from the San Diego Comic-Con.
I know. So, do you have details?
Not yet, but there's going to be a live show. I think we go, what night is the... Thursday night. Our ticket's going to go on sale soon. We're doing shows at the movies there the whole week, and we're on Thursday, but we're also streaming Fat Man Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, like updates, but Friday before you go to the Eisners.
Yeah, Friday and yeah.
Because he's up for an award this year. Anyway, yes. So yes, Fat Man's going to be happening all over Comic-Con. So if you're going to Comic-Con or even if you're just watching Comic-Con from YouTube, we'll be giving you updates on the daily and stuff. But anyway, back to the closing of the show. That is Fat Man Beyond for this week. Tune in next time. Same fat time. Same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's Kiss, motherfuckers. Mwah! This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Kiss of you!